Chapter 2390. After thinking about it, everyone decided to go up and talk to Zhao Fu. They just had to be careful and not anger him. Everyone flew towards Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu's body floated forward, and his cold gaze swept across the holy suns. The holy suns' bodies froze, and they felt a chill. A trace of fear surged in their hearts. When Zhao Fu looked at them, it was as if they had been stared at by the eyes of the heavenly Tao. They felt extremely small, like a grain of sand standing in front of a mountain. Their bodies turned cold, and their hearts were filled with fear. What kind of eyes were those? There were so many pupils in one eye socket, and they were all different powers and auras. His right eye was also very strange. It was a cross with 6 gray dots. These were not eyes that mortals should have. No wonder his power was so terrifying. Just from this pair of eyes, one could understand how terrifying he was. The holy sons who wanted to go up and talk to Zhao Fu looked at Zhao Fu in fear. They did not dare to fly forward, and they looked a little awkward. Right now, Zhao Fu's various emotions were weakened, and he did not have any intention of talking to the holy sons. His gaze was still as cold as ever. The holy sons understood what Zhao Fu meant, so they stopped. They were the legendary holy sons, existences that countless people looked up to and feared. Very few people could make them act like this. Zhao Fu's body floated to the front of the white sea of flames. The white sea of flames seemed to have a mind of its own. It sensed that Zhao Fu had come to its side, and the flames became even more ferocious, forming a huge wave of flames that was thousands of meters tall and tens of thousands of meters long. It was like a huge monster that swallowed towards Zhao Fu. Boom! Zhao Fu's expression was cold. He took a step forward, and a divine power that could dominate heaven and earth rumbled down from the sky. It was as if countless rainbow-colored lights were raining down from the heavens, landing on the huge wave of flames. The huge wave of flames instantly turned into countless flames and dissipated. The ferocious and terrifying white sea of flames became a region without fire. The surrounding white flames did not dare to come close at all. The few successors widened their eyes at the sight before them. They couldn't help but gulp down their saliva, feeling that this was way too strong. These were not ordinary flames, but rather immortal flames that contained some immortal energy. They possessed extremely powerful power, so they had to be careful when facing these flames. They definitely would not be as relaxed as they were right now. Zhao Fu's body automatically floated towards the sea of white flames. The sea of white flames was afraid of Zhao Fu, so it kept retreating, but it was unwilling to give up. It gathered more flames towards Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu was still ice-cold, without any emotions. His body floated forward. Boom! The white sea of flames finally could not hold back and attacked Zhao Fu. Countless flames flooded towards Zhao Fu, bringing with them a power that could incinerate space and an incredibly powerful aura. Countless white flames engulfed Zhao Fu's body, and even more white flames rapidly gathered. The flames kept piling up, forming a huge bonfire. The scorching power had reached its limit, and even steel would be vaporized in an instant. The immense heat caused the few successors to take a step back and unleash defensive barriers to defend, looking incredibly shocked. The sea of white flames seemed to have gone berserk, wanting to burn Zhao Fu. When the successors had entered, they had not caused such a thing. They all stared at the bonfire. They definitely did not believe that Zhao Fu would be defeated so easily. Boom! A shocking explosion rang out as the countless flames seemed to have been hit by tens of thousands of kilograms of weight. They were instantly blasted apart and turned into nothingness. A massive gale blew, and the immense heat instantly dissipated. At the center, Zhao Fu was completely fine. 7 different colored stars appeared behind him, and his body gave off a world-destroying power. The successors looked incredibly shocked. That person's true power had not been displayed just then. This was his full power, and it was far more terrifying than they had imagined. What shocked them even more was that there were 7 stars that were as big as eggs floating behind him, giving off resplendent light. Why did they feel like they were 7 sovereign-level emperor stars? Just what is this person's identity? Zhao Fu's expression was cold as he continued to float forward. The spirit maiden followed behind him, and the white flames did not dare to obstruct him at all, making a path for him. The successors stood there and stared dazedly until Zhao Fu disappeared within the sea of flames. What should we do now? Do we continue to explore the forbidden area with him, or do we go back and report this to our elders? I feel that this is going to be an earth-shattering event. We've encountered an extraordinary person. I think we shouldn't do that. If we do that, we'll offend this terrifying person, and we might be killed by him in the future. Are we just going to watch and do nothing? Even if we don't report this, it might be very serious. Perhaps we'll be punished. It'll take a few days for us to return to our factions. Also, what can we do even if we report this? Just based on that terrifying unknown identity of his, our factions won't dare to offend him. We'll do our best to curry favor with him, but what we're doing is offending him. You're right, and I agree. I think we should continue to explore and report to our higher-ups after we're done. We won't be disturbing his exploration, so there's very little chance of offending him. Alright, let's continue to explore. I want to follow behind him to see what terrifying abilities he's going to unleash, but looking at his cold expression, I'm a little worried that I'll anger him. Me too. Even though I didn't see his true appearance, I can tell from his almost perfect profile that he's extremely handsome. I'm starting to like him a little. Don't be a love-struck fool. Even the successors will look down on people like him. You can tell from the way he looks at us. Let's go explore another area and try not to disturb him. Alright, let's go explore the Fire Immortal Butterfly area on the left. I really want to capture a Fire Immortal Butterfly as a pet. The Burning Spirit Forbidden area is so big, so there's no way we'll encounter one again. After the Holy Sons made their decision, they flew to the other side. Zhao Fu's body continued to float forward, and the white sea of fire continued to make way for him. After a while, Zhao Fu stopped and sensed his surroundings. This sea of fire was very big. Zhao Fu sensed his surroundings mainly to see if there were any treasures around, or if it was suitable for setting up a spirit formation. The white flames contained more celestial power than the flames outside. If he could set up a spirit formation here, it would be better. Moreover, with the sea of fire surrounding it, he wouldn't have to worry about anyone destroying it. But in the end, it was still not possible. This was also an area where time and space were chaotic. The laws here had collapsed, and it was impossible to set up a spirit formation here. Some things couldn't be used here. Chapter 2391. However, it was not that Zhao Fu did not gain anything. He discovered some extremely pure crystals and some little celestial flames with their own consciousness. Zhao Fu directly floated in that direction. The sea of white flames knew Zhao Fu's target and did not dare to stop him. The flames continuously retreated, not daring to get within a few meters of Zhao Fu. Within the sea of flames, the white crystals were also revealed. These crystals had a few sharp points and were about the size of a palm. They were located at the bottom of the sea of flames and gave off a scorching heat. As for the little flames with their own consciousness, they also retreated in fear. Zhao Fu glanced at them, and a formless divine power instantly locked them in place, making them unable to move at all. Zhao Fu came before the crystals and looked at them with a cold expression. These celestial fire crystals contained very pure celestial fire energy and had all sorts of uses, such as forging materials or creating items of destruction. He remembered that Qin's war god's fury celestial peach tree required a large amount of celestial qi to nurture, but this white crystal was not enough. It was a type of celestial fire, and would cause great damage to the celestial peach tree, so it could not be used to nurture the celestial peach tree. There were many celestial fire crystals, and the ground was densely packed with them. Zhao Fu's gaze then fell on the little celestial flames. These little celestial flames were only about the size of a fist, and they floated in the air. They were also white, and their flames continuously swayed. Little celestial flames were fire spirits born from celestial flames, and they had many uses. For example, they could be used as artifact spirits, nurture into powerful fire spirits, or directly devour celestial flames and obtain the power of celestial flames. There were not many of them, only a few dozen or so, and they were all locked in place by Zhao Fu in the air. Zhao Fu did not say anything, and his expression remained cold. Even the spirit maiden, who was standing behind Zhao Fu, could not help but become cautious. She felt that the current Zhao Fu was very terrifying, and he was completely different from before. Boom! An explosion sounded out as a massive wave of divine power exploded out from Zhao Fu's body. It was like a rainbow-colored wave of light, and it instantly spread out for hundreds of thousands of meters. The sea of white flames hurriedly retreated in fear, forming a fire-free area for hundreds of thousands of meters. Waves of divine power grabbed the celestial fire crystals on the ground and flew towards Zhao Fu. There were many of them, and all of the celestial fire crystals in the surrounding 100,000 meters were grabbed by the divine power, not leaving a single one behind. The celestial fire crystals surged towards Zhao Fu like a flood. Zhao Fu waved his hand, and all of the crystals and little celestial fire crystals disappeared, and Zhao Fu sent into the space. After doing this, Zhao Fu's body that, celestial Fu's lees that he could. The sea of white flames covered a very large area, so there were a lot of them. The celestial white Fu's heart, and the sea of white Fu's sea that the Fu the Chun the sea was to calm. That, and Zhao demon Fu, he Fu's to say. Long had to say. At this moment, the celestial white fire crystals were no longer in danger. The celestial white fire crystals were finally gone. Zhao Fu's Li's body continued to float forward. At this moment, Zhao Fu was still at the periphery of the forbidden area. He had not gone deep into the forbidden area. Therefore, the celestial white fire crystals in the periphery were easier for Zhao Fu to deal with. However, if he continued to move forward, the difficulty would increase. Zhao Fu would not be as relaxed as he was now. After entering this state, Zhao Fu obtained the strongest power in the world. However, there was a limit to this power. It was only much stronger than an emptiness realm expert. The surrounding flames turned purple, and the temperature was higher than the white flames. Sensing Zhao Fu's arrival, the flames continued to condense, forming fiery men that were 5 to 6 meters tall, and they charged towards Zhao Fu. There were many fiery men, and it was hard to tell how many there were. The fiery men emitted a scorching hot power. Zhao Fu floated there coldly. He stretched out his hand and grabbed. Countless amounts of divine power gathered in Zhao Fu's hand, forming a crystal-like transparent sword that emitted a divine power that could purify the world. Roar! 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 These fiery men were not real living beings. They were formed from flames, and they did not show any fear. They let out loud roars and charged towards Zhao Fu with a ferocious aura. It was as if they could destroy everything. Zhao Fu's expression did not change. He held his sword and floated in the air, not moving at all. The countless flame people rushed over to Zhao Fu and were about to attack when Zhao Fu stopped. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as Zhao Fu swung his sword, sending out an unimaginably powerful rainbow sword energy that seemed to be able to destroy all things. It swept forwards like a broom sweeping away countless fallen leaves. In that instant, the countless fiery men were sent flying. They turned into countless purple flames and dissipated. At that moment, the black mass of flaming men disappeared completely. The spirit maiden was behind Zhao Fu, and a look of shock appeared on her face when she saw this. Back then, she had been quite optimistic about Zhao Fu, so she had nurtured Zhao Fu and made Zhao Fu the protector of the human world. Not only had Zhao Fu's accomplishments not disappointed her, but they had even exceeded her expectations. She was unable to estimate Zhao Fu's future accomplishments, and it was as if Zhao Fu had limitless potential and could continue to grow endlessly. She had not made the wrong decision back then. Zhao Fu did not care about what the Spirit Maiden was thinking, and his body continued to float forwards. Countless flames continuously gathered, forming fiery men that gave off powerful auras as they charged towards Zhao Fu. Facing these fiery men, Zhao Fu was still as cold and emotionless as before. He swung the sword in his hand, unleashing wave after wave of sword force. The fiery men that charged over were instantly destroyed by Zhao Fu, and they did not affect Zhao Fu much. Zhao Fu continuously floated deeper into the forbidden area. Finally, Zhao Fu came close to the inner region of the forbidden area. The fiery men ahead were crimson red, and the space there was completely twisted, making it look quite terrifying. It was as if there was a crimson wall that was continuously twisting and changing. They gave off terrifying heat that seemed to be able to incinerate everything, striking fear into people's hearts. Ordinary Emperor Heaven Realm experts could not even get close. Even if they released defensive barriers, they would not be able to withstand the immense heat and would be incinerated in an instant. Even though Zhao Fu's expression did not change, he felt a great deal of pressure and understood how terrifying this place was. The inner region of the forbidden area and the outer region were on completely different levels, and the inner region was more than 10 times more dangerous than the outer region. Boundless divine light shined out from Zhao Fu's body, and it was not intense but resplendent. A large, rainbow-colored crystalline defensive barrier slowly formed, covering Zhao Fu and the Spirit Maiden's bodies. The crystalline defensive barrier looked very thin and would shatter at the slightest touch, but it gave off an indestructible divine power, and there were many divine runes continuously flashing on it. Chapter 2392. Zhao Fu's body continued to drift forwards, and the massive heat scorched the powerful defensive barrier. The defensive barrier gave off a faint holy light, resisting the terrifying heat as it slowly drifted forwards. As Zhao Fu's body came closer and closer, the temperature became higher and higher. When Zhao Fu entered the Crimson Wall, the immense heat caused some parts of the crystalline defensive barrier to melt. Zhao Fu's body continuously gave off divine power, maintaining the defensive barrier so that it would not melt. After entering the Crimson Wall, the temperature reached an extreme, and more parts of the defensive barrier began to melt. Even though the Spirit Maiden was within the defensive barrier, she could still sense the terrifying heat, which could easily turn an entire world into scorched earth. If they continued like this, the defensive barrier would be destroyed, and the immense heat would burn their bodies. The Spirit Maiden wanted to help, but she was not very powerful. If they were in the human world, which was her territory, she would be able to help, but she could not hear. However, she did not need to worry. As more and more parts of the defensive barrier melted, the 7 stars behind Zhao Fu shined with 7 different types of resplendent light. 7 massive waves of Emperor Star power spread out and entered the crystalline defensive barrier. After receiving the 7 waves of Emperor Star power, the defensive barrier that was about to melt gave off an even more terrifying power and no longer melted. Zhao Fu's body continued to drift forwards. Half a day later, Zhao Fu and the Spirit Maiden finally passed through the Crimson Wall and arrived within the forbidden area. Zhao Fu once again closed his eyes, and a wave of divine sense spread out. The divine sense here was many times that of the outer region, but the temperature was even hotter and more dangerous. Their surroundings were still in a state of chaos and destruction, and they still could not set up any magic formations. They could not even take out anything from their spatial rings. Zhao Fu stopped where he was and opened his eyes as he looked ahead, wondering if he should continue onwards. If they continued onwards, it would be very dangerous for Zhao Fu with his current strength. Zhao Fu was not an arrogant person, so he would not recklessly advance. More importantly, even though there was a lot of celestial chi here, it was even more chaotic and destroyed, making it impossible to set up magic formations. If this was the case, there was no need for them to continue onwards. I can be sure this is not a suitable place. After thinking for a while, Zhao Fu still decided to advance. Now that they had entered the forbidden area, it would be a pity if he did not make a final confirmation. Keep moving. A massive tree appeared in front of Zhao Fu. This tree looked like a parasol tree, and it was 10,000 meters tall. Its thick and powerful roots pierced into the void, and its trunk was extremely large. Its crown was like a cloud, and its leaves were scarlet like flames. The tree gave off a massive wave of heat, and it was like a massive ball of flame. The surrounding space was dyed crimson red, and there was not a single other color. It gave off a terrifying feeling, and standing in the distance, it felt as if their bodies and souls were going to be burned by it. There was also a sense of powerlessness. What was even more shocking was that there was a huge fiery phoenix lying on the fiery parasol tree. This massive phoenix was nearly 10,000 meters long, and its entire body was a fiery color. It had an elegant figure, and its feathers were like fiery crystals. Its tail feathers were very long and gave off many flames, and its crown was covered with fire runes. It gave off a terrifying aura that was even greater than the aura that the parasol tree gave off. It was also many times more powerful than ordinary fire phoenixes because its flames were quite fresh. Its bloodline was also a celestial beast bloodline, but it was not a pure celestial beast bloodline and instead had a portion of the celestial beast bloodline. Now, this fire phoenix was lying at the top of the tree with its eyes closed, as if it was sleeping. Zhao Fu stopped and looked at the massive celestial fire phoenix. Just as he was about to advance, the phoenix slowly opened its eyes. The fire phoenix slowly opened its eyes and looked at Zhao Fu with its fiery eyes. Zhao Fu immediately felt a wave of fiery flames rush towards him, and the surrounding temperature quickly rose. Zhao Fu's expression was cold as he looked at the celestial fire phoenix with his terrifying eyes. Facing Zhao Fu's terrifying eyes, the celestial fire phoenix felt a trace of fear and retreated. It no longer looked at Zhao Fu and said in a moving female voice, "Who are you? Why have you trespassed into my territory? Also, I don't like the dragon race aura on your body." Zhao Fu did not give off any ripples and his voice was as cold as ice as he said, "I'm just passing by." The celestial fire phoenix was quite displeased with Zhao Fu's cold attitude and said, "I'm asking who you are. I don't like the dragon race aura on your body, so you should take a detour." Zhao Fu coldly looked at the celestial fire phoenix and did not say anything as his body slowly floated forwards. The celestial fire phoenix angrily flapped its wings and flew down from the massive fiery parasol tree towards Zhao Fu. She understood that Zhao Fu was going to force his way through, so she did not hold back. Boom! The celestial fire phoenix gave off an extremely powerful aura as boundless crimson flames erupted from its body. It vigorously flapped its wings, and the countless flames formed massive fireballs that gave off searing heat as they shot towards Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu remained expressionless as he flew out of the energy barrier, leaving the spirit maiden within. There was still a terrifying temperature around them, and with the spirit maiden's current strength, it would be very difficult for her to resist. As such, she needed the protection of Zhao Fu's energy barrier. After flying out of the energy barrier and facing the oncoming fireballs, Zhao Fu grabbed at the air and countless traces of divine power gathered, forming a transparent crystal sword. Shing! A sword hum sounded out as Zhao Fu swung the sword in his hand, and a massive arc of light containing terrifying power instantly slashed forwards. Bang! 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 The massive fireballs were destroyed, and terrifying shockwaves rippled out as countless flames shot everywhere. Zhao Fu's body flew past the countless flames and came before the celestial fire phoenix. He sent a massive wave of divine power into the crystal sword, causing it to give off a resplendent divine light. Boom! Zhao Fu vigorously slashed out, and a massive sword light containing enough power to destroy space slashed towards the celestial fire phoenix with unstoppable force. Scree! The celestial fire phoenix gave a massive cry as countless flames erupted around its body, and it gave off a terrifying aura. It showed no fear as it ferociously slammed towards Zhao Fu. Bang! A massive collision sound rang out as the immortal fire phoenix and the sword light collided. Sword light and fiery light shot out in all directions, and a terrifying shockwave spread out, causing space to shatter. The shockwave spread out for a radius of 1,000 meters. The celestial fire phoenix was forced back 10 or so meters, and Zhao Fu was forced back a few steps. Boom! The celestial fire phoenix flapped its wings and gave off a massive aura as it continued to rush towards Zhao Fu, its claws vigorously grabbing towards Zhao Fu. However, Zhao Fu's body instantly disappeared and reappeared above the celestial fire phoenix's head, slashing towards it. Chapter 2393. Countless traces of flames gathered above the celestial fire phoenix's head, forming a massive orb of flames. Zhao Fu slashed against it, causing the massive orb of flames to expand, and a wave of sword energy continued towards the celestial fire phoenix. Scree! The celestial fire phoenix opened its mouth and spat out a searing flame that contained immense power and heat that seemed to be able to burn everything towards Zhao Fu. It was incredibly fast and gave off an incredibly ferocious aura, seeming to be unstoppable. The remaining sword energy that Huoyan had sent out was easily shattered, and Huoyan continued to rush towards Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu stretched out a hand and a powerful wave of divine power flowed out, forming a hexagonal shield of light. It gave off a powerful divine might. Bang! The terrifying flame slammed into the shield of light, resulting in a massive explosion. The flames spread out and the massive heat melted the shield of light. Zhao Fu's expression did not change at all, and he stretched out his hand to send out even more divine power to defend against the flames. Bang! Just as the flames stopped, the celestial fire phoenix's massive body slammed into the shield of light. The massive power shattered the shield of light and Zhao Fu's body was sent flying back, a trace of blood leaking out of his lips. The celestial fire phoenix smiled, and its body erupted with flames. It flapped its wings and the flames formed massive fireballs that gave off terrifying destructive power as they shot towards Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu sent a wave of power into the ancient mirror at his forehead, and an extremely terrifying ripple spread out. Swish, 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 the sound of the air being torn could be heard as tens of thousands of rays of light giving off world-destroying power shot forwards incredibly quickly, seeming to be able to pierce through space. Bang! 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 The countless fireballs were blasted apart by the rays of light, and explosive power spread out. Flames were blasted away, and the rays of light continued to shoot towards the celestial fire phoenix. The celestial fire phoenix was given a big fright and it flapped its wings, causing a massive wave of power to flow out and form a red-colored energy barrier that covered its massive body. Bang! 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 The rays of light smashed against the energy barrier with terrifying power, resulting in massive explosions and shocking ripples spreading out. In the end, the energy barrier was able to defend against the countless rays of light. Boom! Before the celestial fire phoenix could feel happy, the ancient mirror on Zhao Fu's forehead shot out a massive beam of light that contained terrifying power. It was incredibly fast as it streaked through the air and slammed into the celestial fire phoenix's defensive barrier. Bang! A massive explosion sounded out as the defensive barrier was shattered by the beam of light. The beam of light landed on the immortal fire phoenix's body, sending it flying back. It let out a pained cry as a sizable wound appeared on its body, from which blood continuously flowed out. The celestial fire phoenix furiously glared at Zhao Fu. She was incredibly angry and wanted to kill Zhao Fu. Boom! The celestial fire phoenix raised its head and made a flying pose. A terrifying power exploded out from the celestial fire phoenix's body and countless fiery flames erupted from its body. The celestial fire phoenix became a massive fireball. Countless flames gathered on the two wings, and the light from the flames illuminated the surroundings, emitting a heat that could burn the world. Boom! The celestial fire phoenix flapped its wings with all its might, and a red gust of wind that seemed capable of burning the heavens and the earth swept forward. The space in front of it instantly twisted, and everything in its path was incinerated. Boom! Zhao Fu's expression was cold as he stretched out a hand, and 7 stars flew in front of him, giving off resplendent light as 7 massive waves of Emperor Star power spread out. Each wave of Emperor Star power formed a circular shield of light that was spread out across the 7 stars before combining together, forming 7 different colored shields of light. A might that surpassed the world spread out. Bang! The red gust of wind that seemed to be able to burn the world slammed into the shield of light, causing a terrifying shock wave to spread out. A massive wave of heat flowed out, causing the space around it to twist. However, the 7-colored shield of light gave off a massive wave of Emperor Star power and was able to defend against the gust of wind. However, the attack did not stop there. Boom! An explosion once again sounded out as the celestial fire phoenix's body erupted with even more intense flames, and it vigorously flapped its wings, causing an even greater red gust of wind to blow towards Zhao Fu. Bang! A massive sound once again sounded out as the ferocious gust of wind once again slammed into the shield of light, causing an even more intense shock wave to ripple out. The 7-colored shield of light in front of Zhao Fu seemed to be indestructible under the terrifying wind. Scree! A massive phoenix cry tore through the air as the celestial fire phoenix exploded out with all of its power. A massive wave of flames erupted around its body, illuminating the surroundings and giving off power that seemed to be able to incinerate all things. Boom! The celestial fire phoenix once again flapped her wings, and the countless flames did not gather on her wings. Instead, they gathered in front of her, forming a massive 1,000-meter-tall phoenix that gave off an aura that seemed to be able to incinerate everything as it rushed towards Zhao Fu. Bang! The celestial fire phoenix was incredibly fast and slammed into the 7-colored shield of light with massive power, resulting in an intense explosion. Countless rays of blinding light covered the surroundings, and an explosive force blasted out, destroying everything in the surroundings. The spirit maiden felt quite startled and felt quite worried for Zhao Fu. After the shockwaves dissipated, Zhao Fu's body flew back hundreds of meters. His hair and clothes were in disarray and there was blood at his lips, making him look quite wretched. A trace of anger appeared on Zhao Fu's cold and emotionless face. This meant that Zhao Fu was extremely angry. Boom! A shocking explosion sounded out as a terrifying wave of divine power exploded out from Zhao Fu's body, forming a rainbow-colored shockwave that blasted out with power that seemed to be able to sweep away everything. In that instant, the surrounding space was completely shattered. A wave of divine power that seemed to rule over the heavens and earth covered the surrounding 10,000 kilometers. The temperature in the surroundings plummeted and countless flames dissipated. The surrounding celestial flames were suppressed and filled with powerful divine power. At the center of the shockwave, Zhao Fu's eyes gave off rainbow-colored light and the 7 stars behind him gave off intense starlight. A supreme aura spread out, and even the heavens and earth had to submit in front of him. The celestial fire phoenix felt a wave of fear in her heart. She had never thought that she would meet such a terrifying person. She had thought that Zhao Fu was just a very powerful Emperor Heaven Realm cultivator, so she had been quite courteous when speaking to Zhao Fu. If an ordinary Emperor Heaven Realm expert dared to come here, she would not hesitate to attack and burn that person to death. She would not show any mercy. However, she had completely underestimated Zhao Fu's power. The celestial fire phoenix understood that Zhao Fu was quite angry, so she did not hesitate and turned and flew away, wanting to take the parasol tree and leave this place to avoid this terrifying person like Zhao Fu. Otherwise, she might be killed by Zhao Fu. At that moment, Zhao Fu slowly raised a hand as an icy voice sounded out, "Divine punishment." Chapter 2394. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as a 10-meter wide, rainbow-colored pillar of light shot down towards the celestial fire phoenix, bringing with it the power to pierce through the world. The celestial fire phoenix was given a big fright and dodged to the side, avoiding this terrifying pillar of light. That beam of light penetrated through the void in an instant. There was not the slightest bit of obstruction, and the bottom of it seemed to have merged with the void. Before the celestial fire phoenix could rejoice, boom, 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 massive explosions sounded out as colorful pillars of light giving off destructive power continuously descended from the sky. They were incredibly fast. At first, the celestial fire phoenix used her agility to dodge a few pillars of light, but as more and more pillars of light appeared, adding on how big her body was, she was unable to dodge at all. As such, she could only release a wave of power to form a red energy barrier. Bang! 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 The speed at which the light beams fell was still very fast. They constantly fell from the sky and hit the scarlet energy shield. The scarlet energy shield did not resist for long and was directly smashed by the many light beams. The 10 or so pillars of light pierced through the celestial fire phoenix's body, causing blood to fly everywhere as the celestial fire phoenix gave a pained cry. Compared to the celestial fire phoenix's 10,000-meter-long body, the 10 or so meter-wide pillars of light were quite thin. From a distance, the celestial fire phoenix looked as if it had been pierced by 10 or so pillars of light and was fixed to the spot. Boom! A shocking explosion once again sounded out, and under the immense pain, the celestial fire phoenix seemed to have gone mad. An incredibly searing flame erupted out of her body, and the pillars of light that had pierced through her body were easily destroyed by the flames. Flames from all directions wrapped around her body like a tide, forming a huge fireball. The fireball continuously spun as countless flames gathered. The fireball continuously spun and grew larger and larger, giving off a terrifying heat. The space around it seemed to be melting. The fireball did not show any signs of stopping, and it continuously spun and grew larger until it was hundreds of thousands of meters wide. It gave off a massive pressure and a terrifying aura that seemed to be able to incinerate the heavens and earth. The celestial fire phoenix went all out, using her most powerful skill, boundless incineration. Zhao Fu looked at the huge fireball in front of him. His expression was still cold, without any change. Powerful phantoms began to appear in the sky, densely packed together in the surroundings. There were at least 10,000 of them. There were men and women, old and young, beasts and birds. Every single one of them radiated with powerful divine power, representing every single deity. The terrifying power ripples from the descent of 10,000 gods seemed to lock down this region of space. Everything was in a state of stillness, and the scene was extremely terrifying. Boom! A sound that sounded as though the entire world had exploded rang out. That gigantic fireball exploded as countless flames with the power to incinerate the heavens and earth spread out in an instant. At that moment, space, time, and immortal energy all turned into nothingness as though nothing existed. In the face of the flames that could destroy everything, Zhao Fu's expression did not change, nor did he move. The god spirit images burst out with powerful divine power. They stretched out their hands, and waves of divine power flowed out of their hands. Countless traces of divine power condensed in front of Zhao Fu and started to crystallize. The hexagonal crystals formed a massive semicircular crystal barrier that gave off boundless divine power. Bang! The flames that seemed to be able to burn the heavens and earth slammed into the defensive barrier. The defensive barrier gave off a powerful 10,000 godly power to defend against that wave of power, and clear sounds rang out as countless cracks appeared on the massive crystalline energy barrier. In the end, the crystal barrier was able to block that terrifying wave of flames. Now, the surroundings were filled with countless flames, and everything was within the void. The spirit maiden looked at all of this with a look of shock on her face. Zhao Fu and the celestial fire phoenix's power was simply too terrifying. It was not something that could be possessed by mortals. The chosen on the other side also sensed this frightening fluctuation, and they all had shocked expressions on their faces. Why are there such terrifying ripples coming from that direction? I feel like I can kill a saint with this terrifying energy wave alone. A figure appeared in their minds. Right now, there was only one person in that direction, and they had no idea what that person was fighting with for such terrifying ripples. They all wanted to see just how intense this battle would be, and they also wanted to see just how terrifying that person's power was. Now that they were on the other side, it would be quite difficult for them to go there. After using this attack, the celestial fire phoenix had used up almost all of its power, and its body had become quite weak. However, seeing that Zhao Fu was not injured at all, it felt quite afraid and did not dare to hesitate as it flapped its wings and flew forwards. Clang! 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 The sound of chains could be heard as massive chains shot out from where Zhao Fu was and shot towards the celestial fire phoenix incredibly quickly, giving off a ferocious aura. The celestial fire phoenix had almost no power left, and facing the countless chains, it was unable to defend at all and was tied up in the air. Zhao Fu's body continued to float forwards and came before the celestial fire phoenix. He looked at it coldly and stretched out a hand. Boundless divine power flowed out of his hand, and a dangerous aura spread out. "Don't kill me!" the celestial fire phoenix begged in fear. Hearing this, Zhao Fu withdrew his hand. If the celestial fire phoenix had not begged for mercy, Zhao Fu would have killed her. In this state, not only did Zhao Fu lose all of his emotions, but he also looked down on everything in the world. Even though Zhao Fu did not have any thoughts of destroying the world, anything that dared to anger him or obstruct him, he had the urge to destroy them. "Will you submit to me?" Zhao Fu asked coldly. The celestial fire phoenix had no other choice and said fearfully, "As long as you don't kill me, I'm willing to submit to you." Swish! An air-piercing sound rang out as the ancient mirror on Zhao Fu's forehead shot out a ray of light into the celestial fire phoenix's body, and a powerful godly spirit restriction spread out within the celestial fire phoenix's body. The celestial fire phoenix did not dare to resist and allowed the restriction to spread within her body. Zhao Fu did not use his 6 desires demonic qi. The celestial fire phoenix could most likely take human form, and if he used the 6 desires demonic qi to control her, she would become even more powerful and submit to Zhao Fu both physically and mentally. However, Zhao Fu's emotions had been stripped away, and this included emotions related to love. Now, even if a peerlessly beautiful woman stood in front of him naked, Zhao Fu would not be moved. He no longer had any interest in women, nor did he have any interest in men. After subduing the celestial fire phoenix, Zhao Fu closed his eyes and sensed his surroundings. Chapter 2395. Zhao Fu sensed his surroundings, which was to see if this place was suitable for setting up a magic formation. This place was quite different from other places. Other places only had flames, but this place had such a large fire parasol tree. This parasol tree was no ordinary parasol tree. It contained powerful fire attributes and had powerful celestial energy, so it should be an immortal parasol tree. Just then, Zhao Fu had not just been fighting with the celestial fire phoenix. He had also wanted to take this place. After sensing, Zhao Fu once again opened his eyes, but the results were still quite disappointing. With the immortal parasol tree here, the space here had become stable and the laws were not chaotic, so he could set up a magic formation. However, because of the celestial fire phoenix's incinerate desolation, the space here had once again been destroyed, and it would take over 100 years for it to recover. Zhao Fu could not wait that long, so he could only give up on this place. However, this gave Zhao Fu a bit of hope. There was a place to set up a magic formation in the forbidden area, and if he set up the magic formation, he would be able to send large amounts of celestial qi into the heaven realm, causing the heaven realm to go through changes. Clanging sounds sounded out as the chains binding the celestial fire phoenix loosened and the celestial fire phoenix flew back into the air. The celestial fire phoenix's body gave off countless flames that condensed together, forming a woman with fiery hair, fiery eyes, a peerlessly beautiful face, and a seductive figure. She only had a few feathers covering her important parts. Owner! The celestial fire phoenix bowed towards Zhao Fu in fear. Even now, she was quite afraid of the cold and emotionless Zhao Fu, and he gave off the feeling that he could kill her at any moment. Zhao Fu asked coldly, "I want to know if there are any places in the forbidden area that are similar to this place." As a creature from the forbidden area, the celestial fire phoenix was definitely quite familiar with the forbidden area. With her leading the way, Zhao Fu would not need to continue searching. Hearing this, the celestial fire phoenix thought about it and replied, "There are many places." Zhao Fu expressionlessly said, "Take me there." The celestial fire phoenix replied, I'll take you there immediately, but owner, wait for me." Zhao Fu nodded. The celestial fire phoenix turned around and flew towards the immortal parasol tree. It came in front of the immortal parasol tree and shot out a powerful flame from its chest into the immortal parasol tree. The massive immortal parasol tree burned with countless flames, and it quickly shrank. In the end, it became a fist-sized fireball and fused into the celestial fire phoenix's chest. A parasol tree mark appeared on the celestial fire phoenix's chest. The celestial fire phoenix had been on the immortal parasol tree for so many years, and it had already refined the immortal parasol tree into a treasure. Not only could it continue to grow, but it could also be taken away at any time. It could even be used as a weapon. Following this, Zhao Fu followed the celestial fire phoenix to a place. There were massive fireballs in the air, looking like suns. They gave off scorching rays of light, and within each fireball was a powerful creature. Zhao Fu was not in a hurry to make a move. Its goal was not to kill them. It closed its eyes and sensed its surroundings. It found that this was not a suitable place to build a formation. It could only leave this place and head to the next place. In the second place there was a massive fire snake. When Zhao Fu and the celestial fire phoenix spirit maiden arrived, it opened its eyes and looked at Zhao Fu and the others warily. It recognized the celestial fire phoenix, and it said in a cold male voice, "Why have you brought people into my territory?" The celestial fire phoenix looked at Zhao Fu before lightly harumphing at the fire snake and saying, "Don't worry about what we're doing. You'd better behave now, or else my master will teach you a lesson." The fire snake's expression faltered and it looked at Zhao Fu. It knew that the celestial fire phoenix's power was quite terrifying, and this person could tame it by himself. This meant that he definitely had even more power. Moreover, even if the celestial fire phoenix did not say anything, the fire snake could sense how terrifying Zhao Fu was. The divine power that Zhao Fu gave off was incredibly powerful. As such, the fire snake became well-behaved and did not do anything, wanting to see what Zhao Fu was doing here. Zhao Fu once again closed his eyes and sensed his surroundings, but he found that this place was not suitable for him. In the end, he could only leave this place and head to the next place. The third place was a massive flame vortex that continuously spun in the air and gave off a searing heat. It also had a massive suction force, and if anyone got too close they would definitely be sucked into the vortex. Zhao Fu closed his eyes again and sensed his surroundings, but he found that the spatial laws here were more chaotic than in other places. As such, he could only head to the next place. After looking around, Zhao Fu finally stopped at a place. This place was not suitable for setting up a magic formation, but it had something that Zhao Fu wanted. There was a flaming person in this place that contained a powerful fire source energy and a very strong spiritual nature. Zhao Fu now had a yin-yang soul fire, a metal spirit bone, a wood spirit body, and a water spirit blood. He was only missing 2 attributes, which were fire and earth. If he could gather those 2 attributes, Zhao Fu would have gathered the 5 elements of yin and yang. As long as Zhao Fu devoured the fire person, he would be able to obtain fire spirit power. The fire person was a fire giant and looked like an elderly man. When Zhao Fu and the others arrived, he was still asleep and did not show any signs of waking up. Zhao Fu grabbed out with his hand and countless traces of divine power gathered, forming a transparent crystal sword that gave off a terrifying wave of divine power. Following this, Zhao Fu's body flew forwards and quickly arrived in front of the flame giant. Just as he was about to slash out with his sword, a terrifying sword energy appeared. The fire giant suddenly opened its eyes and swung its arm, giving off immense power as it slammed towards Zhao Fu, seeming as if it could easily shatter a mountain. Zhao Fu blocked with his sword and a semicircular barrier of light appeared. Bang! A massive sound rang out as the terrifying fire arm was easily blocked by Zhao Fu. The fire giant looked quite startled, as if it had never thought that Zhao Fu would have such power. It then reacted and raised its other hand to attack Zhao Fu, bringing with it a ferocious gale. Zhao Fu stretched out his other hand and clenched a fist. A massive wave of divine power entered his arm, and he vigorously punched out. Bang! A massive explosion sounded out as the 2 fists collided, causing a terrifying gale to spread out. The massive fire giant was forced back a few steps, but Zhao Fu's body did not move at all. It was difficult to imagine a 10,000-meter tall fire giant being forced back by a small person. In actuality, to Zhao Fu, this fire giant was not very strong and was even slightly weaker than the celestial fire phoenix. As such, he did not feel much pressure dealing with it. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as the fire giant understood how terrifying Zhao Fu was. It exploded out with all of its power, causing massive flames to erupt around its body. Chapter 2396. The flame giant grabbed out with its hand and flames continuously gathered, forming a spear made of flames. Boom! The flame giant gripped the spear and vigorously stabbed it towards Zhao Fu. The spear was incredibly fast and seemed to be able to pierce through space. It also gave off a heat that caused space to twist. Shing! Zhao Fu's expression did not change, and he vigorously slashed out with his sword. A massive rainbow sword light clashed with the spear and a terrifying shockwave spread out, causing the flame giant to take another step back. The flame giant looked quite confused. He had released all of his power, but why was he still not a match for Zhao Fu? Scree! A massive phoenix cry sounded out as the celestial fire phoenix appeared behind the flame giant and turned back into its original form. Its massive claws gave off shocking power as they grabbed towards the flame giant. The flame giant was unable to dodge at all and was struck by the celestial fire phoenix's claws, causing a few massive wounds to appear on his body. Roar! The flame giant furiously roared and turned, and its spear gave off massive power as it stabbed towards the celestial fire phoenix. The celestial fire phoenix quickly retreated, avoiding this terrifying spear. Bang! Another explosion sounded out as the flame giant was sent flying back. Zhao Fu once again attacked. The flame giant got up and looked at Zhao Fu and the celestial fire phoenix with an unsightly expression before turning and running. The flame giant could not even defeat one of Zhao Fu and the celestial fire phoenix, let alone 2. As such, the flame giant decided to run. Seeing the flame giant run, Zhao Fu did not move and sent a massive wave of divine power into the ancient mirror on his forehead. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as the ancient mirror shot out a massive ray of light that contained destructive power towards the flame giant. It was incredibly fast, and in just an instant, the flame giant felt quite startled and dodged to the side. However, he was unable to dodge, and his shoulder was pierced by the ray of light, leaving a large hole in it. The flame giant howled in pain. The celestial fire phoenix grasped this opportunity. Its body gave off countless traces of flames that gathered in front of it, forming a massive fireball that shot towards the flame giant. Bang! A massive explosion sounded out as the fireball exploded, and a shocking explosive power spread out, sending the flame giant flying back. It looked to be quite injured. Roar! The flame giant was furious to the extreme and roared as it madly swung its spear, sending out waves of terrifying energy towards Zhao Fu and the celestial fire phoenix, giving off terrifying sounds. An energy shield appeared around Zhao Fu and the immortal fire phoenix, blocking the incoming energy. Bang bang bang! The waves of energy were extremely terrifying as they continuously struck the defensive barrier, causing loud sounds to ring out. Some cracks also appeared on the defensive barrier. However, this ferocious attack did not last for long. The flame giant exhausted a large amount of energy and stopped. Next, it was time for Zhao Fu to counterattack. Clang clang clang, sword hums continuously sounded out as Zhao Fu slashed out sword lights towards the flame giant. The sword lights contained terrifying power and slashed open wounds on the flame giant's body, causing it to continuously howl. Boom! Zhao Fu sent large amounts of divine power into the sword and vigorously slashed out, sending out a massive sword light that gave off world-destroying power and a thunderous aura as it slashed forwards. The flame giant blocked with its spear in fear and gave off a massive wave of flame power, wanting to defend against this terrifying sword light. Bang! A massive explosion sounded out as the flame giant was sent flying very far away and crashed into the air. It did not even have the strength to crawl back up, and the flames around its body became much dimmer and were not as powerful as before. Zhao Fu did not show any mercy and came to the flame giant's side and slashed off its head. The flame giant's massive body quickly collapsed, turning into countless flames and dissipating. Finally, a heart formed from flames appeared, and it was beating vigorously, giving off thumping sounds. This was most likely the flame giant's heart, and it contained all of the flame giant's power. The heart was 10 or so meters wide, and Zhao Fu grabbed at it. A massive wave of divine power brought the heart to him, and Zhao Fu sat cross-legged in the air, preparing to absorb the flame giant's heart. The celestial fire phoenix obediently returned to its human form and waited with the spirit maiden. The 10-meter-wide flame giant's heart floated in front of Zhao Fu, and Zhao Fu's body gave off a suction force. The flame giant's power turned into ribbons that stretched into Zhao Fu's body. After the massive wave of flame giant's power entered Zhao Fu's body, it flowed into Zhao Fu's heart, and Zhao Fu's heart was enveloped by flames. Zhao Fu felt an intense pain in his heart, as if his heart was being roasted by flames. However, Zhao Fu's expression did not change at all. In the myriad god state, his sense of pain was greatly reduced. Flame giant's power continuously flowed into Zhao Fu's heart, and gradually, Zhao Fu's heart also contained flame giant's power. As the flame giant's power continuously flowed into Zhao Fu's body, the flame giant's body became smaller and smaller. In the end, it disappeared, and all of its power flowed into Zhao Fu's heart, causing Zhao Fu's heart to burn with a fiery flame, and it contained a powerful spirituality. The heart continuously beat, and waves of flame giant's power spread to its peak. Many small flames appeared around Zhao Fu's body, giving off a powerful wave of heat. Zhao Fu had successfully obtained the fire spirit's heart. Now, Zhao Fu had the yin-yang soul fire, the wood spirit body, the metal spirit bone, the water spirit blood, and the fire spirit heart. Even though he was very happy, Zhao Fu's expression did not change at all. The myriad god state was incredibly powerful, and it was Zhao Fu's most powerful state. The myriad god power was also Zhao Fu's most powerful divine power, but it also made Zhao Fu lose a lot of joy. He could not be happy, nor could he feel pain, and it was quite boring. Zhao Fu retracted the fire spirit's heart's power, and the small flames around his body and the heat disappeared. His expression was still cold as he said, "Let's go." Following this, Zhao Fu followed the celestial fire phoenix to other places, but in the end, Zhao Fu still died, and there was no suitable place to build a teleportation channel. It seemed that the ability to stabilize space and repair laws was the celestial parasol tree's unique ability. It was a pity that this ability took a long time, and even if Zhao Fu went to another place, he would not be able to stabilize the space there in a short period of time. Now, Zhao Fu had checked all of the places that were similar to where the celestial fire phoenix was. If he wanted to find another place to build a teleportation channel, he would have to head to the core region of the forbidden area. Zhao Fu stood there and thought for a while before deciding to head to the core region. As Zhao Fu and the others got closer and closer to the core region, the temperature became higher and higher. Even the spatial laws melted, and Emperor Heaven Realm experts would be vaporized if they went in. Chapter 2397. Zhao Fu once again unleashed his divine power. Large amounts of divine power condensed and started to crystallize, forming a crystal defensive barrier that covered Zhao Fu and the others and resisted the terrifying heat. However, the three of them had not flown very far before the immense heat started to melt some parts of the crystal defensive barrier. Boom! An explosion sounded out as the 7 stars once again gave off 7 types of Emperor Stars power. With the support of the 7 Emperor Stars, the crystal barrier gave off a 7-colored light, resisting the intense heat and no longer melting. They continued onwards. However, as they got closer and closer to the core region, the temperature became more and more absurd. Even the barrier strengthened by the 7 Emperor Stars could not withstand the heat and started to melt some parts. Some of the heat had already seeped into the barrier, roasting Zhao Fu and the others' bodies. Even the celestial fire phoenix was unable to withstand this terrifying heat, and beads of sweat appeared on its body. Zhao Fu could only stop. He was too weak and could not enter the core region at all. Since they could not enter the core region, there was no value in exploring this forbidden area. As such, Zhao Fu said, "Let's go." The spirit maiden looked quite disappointed and lightly nodded. The temperature at the core region was so terrifying that it would be impossible to enter without spirit realm cultivation. They could only go to the other forbidden areas to have a look. Apart from this burning spirit forbidden area, there were 3 other forbidden areas. Zhao Fu hoped that he would be able to make some gains there. Otherwise, there would not be any other celestial world cracks, and he would have to find the half-celestial world. The celestial fire phoenix did not say anything and obediently followed behind Zhao Fu. The 3 of them left the burning spirit forbidden area and came outside. Zhao Fu retracted his 10,000 godly power and returned to his original appearance. Even though his aura was still quite powerful, it was not as cold as before, causing the spirit maiden and the celestial fire phoenix to feel slightly more at ease. "Zhao Fu, which forbidden area are we going to next?" the spirit maiden asked as a trace of a smile appeared on her face. Zhao Fu took out a jade disc and looked at it before smiling as he said, "Since there is no suitable place to set up a magic formation in this burning spirit forbidden area, let's head to the next forbidden area, the ghost refining region." The celestial fire phoenix asked curiously, "Master, what are you trying to do? Why do we need to find a place to set up a magic array in the Forbidden Land? There are almost no such places in the Forbidden Land because the void of the Forbidden Land is in chaos and collapse." Zhao Fu replied with a smile, "I need a large amount of immortal qi. I can only look for it in the forbidden grounds formed by the cracks in the immortal world." Seeing that Zhao Fu's attitude had become much better, The celestial fire phoenix smiled and replied, "All right, I understand. Also, Master, that state you were in just then was quite scary. I didn't even dare to talk to you." Zhao Fu chuckled. "In that state, my emotions are almost stripped away. That's why I'm like that. Usually, I don't enter that state." The celestial fire phoenix nodded. "I forgot to tell you my name. It's Feng Wei." Zhao Fu responded and brought the two of them to the next forbidden area. Boom! A terrifying saber light sent a pretty-looking young man flying back. The young man coughed up a mouthful of blood, but he did not show any signs of stopping and continued to run. There were 5 people chasing after him, and the one at the front was a handsome-looking young man holding a red saber. It was him who had just unleashed that saber light. They all had Western looks, golden hair and blue eyes. The handsome-looking young man chased as he loudly laughed and said, "My good little brother, keep running. Do you think you'll be able to escape?" The pretty-looking young man looked furious and turned to look at the handsome-looking young man before continuing to run. The handsome-looking young man and his people continued to chase after him, and he gave a savage smile as he slashed out again. A saber light slammed into the pretty-looking young man's body, and the pretty-looking young man was once again sent flying. A gash appeared on his back, from which blood continuously flowed out. The pretty-looking young man endured the pain and continued to fly because he knew that if he stopped, he would definitely die at the handsome-looking young man's hands. The handsome-looking young man gave a mocking smile and did not panic as he continued to chase after him. Just as the handsome-looking young man was about to catch up to the pretty-looking young man, at this moment, Zhao Fu's group of 3 arrived here using the void ring and appeared in front of the pretty-looking young man. The pretty-looking young man was overjoyed when he saw this and said, "Hurry up and save me. I'm the holy son of the Western half-immortal world. If you can save me, I'll definitely give you a lot of benefits." Zhao Fu's group of 3 had just arrived, so they could not react in time. The handsome-looking young man ordered his people to surround Zhao Fu's group of 3, including the pretty-looking young man. "My good little brother, you're really stupid. You actually asked 3 people who are weaker than you for help. With your intelligence, I should have killed you." The handsome-looking young man mocked loudly. Hearing this, the pretty-looking young man reacted. He sensed that Zhao Fu's group of 3 were indeed slightly weaker than him. He did not think too much about it as he would not let go of a chance to live. But now that the 3 of them were weaker than him, he was really going to die here. Zhao Fu sensed that the 2 young men were both in the Void Realm and had sacred bloodlines. They should be the holy sons of the half-immortal world. Zhao Fu did not know what grudges they had, but his goal was to go to the forbidden area, so he did not want to get involved. He said to the handsome young man, "I won't interfere in this matter. Let us leave." The handsome young man smiled disdainfully and said, "You think you're qualified to talk to me? If I want you to leave, I'll let you leave. If I don't want you to leave, I won't let you leave." Zhao Fu frowned. "Don't go too far." The handsome young man laughed and said, "So what if I go too far? I'm the holy son of the Western half-immortal world. I don't care who you are. If you kneel down and beg for mercy, I'll let you go." The pretty-looking young man looked around nervously and planned to find another opportunity to escape. Zhao Fu's group of 3 was no longer in his concern. However, he found that it was not possible for him to force his way out by himself, so he said to Zhao Fu's group of 3, "He won't let the 3 of you go. You'll definitely die here. If you help me escape, I'll take care of your families." He wanted Zhao Fu's group of 3 to stall these people and give him a chance to escape. The handsome young man looked at Feng Wuyi and Ling Ji and laughed lewdly. "That's not necessarily true. I'll kill the man, but I'll take the 2 beauties back and enjoy them." Zhao Fu's expression was cold as he looked at the group of people in front of him. "You're seeking death." Boom! Zhao Fu directly exploded out with a terrifying power and slashed towards the handsome young man. The handsome young man's expression changed. He did not expect Zhao Fu to suddenly explode out with such great power. Chapter 2398. However, the handsome young man did not panic. He stretched out a hand and a massive wave of power flowed out, forming a semicircular barrier that blocked Zhao Fu's attack. The handsome young man said coldly, "Kill him, but leave the woman." Yes. The 4 people surrounding Zhao Fu were all Void Realm experts, and they obeyed. They gave off a massive wave of power and prepared to kill Zhao Fu. Boom! A massive wave of flames containing enough power to burn everything spread out. Everyone felt quite startled and quickly retreated, and a 10,000-meter-wide fire phoenix appeared before them. Feng Wuyi said angrily, "Master, let me teach these people a lesson." Zhao Fu lightly nodded. The handsome young man looked delighted. He had never thought that Feng Wuyi would be a phoenix, and such a powerful one at that. Now they were saved. Even if they could not defeat her big brother, they would be able to escape. The handsome young man's expression became serious. Scree! Feng Wuyi gave a cry and spat out a searing flame that contained terrifying power. It spread out in all directions, causing the surrounding temperature to rise. Even though the other 4 people also had Void Realm cultivation, they were evidently not as strong as Feng Wuyi. They released defensive barriers to defend against the terrifying flames as they retreated. The handsome young man released a defensive barrier, but it successfully blocked Feng Wuyi's flames. He was not weak at all. Boom! As soon as Feng Wuyi stopped attacking, the handsome young man slashed towards her with his saber, sending out a massive saber light that tore apart space. Shing! A sword hum sounded out as Zhao Fu vigorously slashed out, sending out an eerie and terrifying sword light containing shocking power towards the saber light. Bang! A massive explosion sounded out as the sword light and saber light collided, causing light to shoot everywhere and a shockwave to ripple out. Zhao Fu held the Emperor Killing Sword in one hand, while his other arm had become a ghostly claw. Zhao Fu had already used the Reincarnation Path's power. The handsome young man frowned. Zhao Fu gave him an extremely dangerous feeling. When the handsome young man saw that Zhao Fu was confronting his brother, and that the other 4 Emptiness Realm experts were being suppressed by the Fire Phoenix, he suddenly unleashed a burst of power. He transformed into a beam of light and dashed to the side. This was the best time to escape. His speed was very fast, and in the blink of an eye, he had already flown far away. Now, as long as he escaped back, he would be able to live. Moreover, he could report this matter to the higher-ups. The family forbade brothers from killing each other. At that time, his brother wouldn't be able to inherit the half-immortal world. If he couldn't become the inheritor of the half-immortal world, there wouldn't be many people who would support him, and his status would fall. At that time, he would make his brother pay him back tenfold, and he might even become the inheritor. The handsome young man's goal was to become the successor. He wanted to kill his younger brother to reduce his competitiveness. Moreover, this matter had the support of a higher being. He would cover up the fact that he had killed his younger brother, but he had to do it covertly. Ever since he was young, he had never been able to get along with this younger brother of his, and he disliked him very much. Originally, he wanted to make fun of him before killing him, but he did not expect Zhao Fu and the others to appear. Now that he saw his brother trying to escape, he did not hesitate and said, "Don't worry about these people, chase him for me." The handsome young man led his people and quickly chased after him. Zhao Fu wanted to stop the handsome-looking young man because the handsome-looking young man had angered him. However, Zhao Fu did not like the handsome-looking young man either. That person had used them to block him while he ran away. After thinking about it, if he tried to stop him, he would be helping the handsome young man. As such, Zhao Fu did not do anything. However, if he let the handsome young man go like this, Zhao Fu would feel quite displeased and wanted to chase after him to find an opportunity to teach him a lesson. "Forget it, Zhao Fu. Don't get involved in this troublesome matter, It's more important to find a place to set up a magic formation, the spirit maiden said. Hearing this, Zhao Fu thought about it and gave up on chasing after him. This was a matter between Saint-Tier factions, and it would be quite troublesome if he got involved. Feng Wuyi returned to her human form, and Zhao Fu planned to throw out the void bracelet and head towards the forbidden area. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as a beautiful woman with long silver hair and a graceful figure in a silver robe appeared in front of Zhao Fu and the others, giving off a massive aura. The beautiful woman's beautiful eyes fell on Zhao Fu's body as she asked anxiously, "Did you see anyone nearby?" Zhao Fu looked at the beautiful woman and felt that she looked like a handsome young man, and her aura was quite similar as well. Seeing how she was asking so anxiously, she was most likely his mother. She was most likely here to save that handsome young man. As mentioned before, Zhao Fu did not like that handsome young man. Just as he was about to say that he did not know, boom! Another massive explosion sounded out as a beautiful woman with a voluptuous figure and a haughty aura appeared. She was wearing a golden palace dress and gave off a massive aura as she smiled and said, "Fourth sister, they're just here to play, don't be so nervous." She looked quite similar to the handsome young man and was most likely his mother. The silver-robed woman said coldly, "Third sister, don't think that I don't know what you're thinking. The 6 of us have expended a large amount of our cultivation to help our husband break through to the celestial realm. Soon, he'll ascend to the celestial world, but you want to kill my son so that your son can become the legatee. How could I agree?" The haughty woman's expression became cold as she said, "You can't blame me for this. It's your son's fault for wanting to become the legatee. Moreover, you didn't rope in any higher beings to support your son." The silver-robed woman coldly laughed as she said, "Why can your son be the legatee but not mine? I usually give in to you in order to not make things difficult for our husband, but do you really think that I'm easy to bully?" The haughty woman said disdainfully, "With my status and bloodline, what right do you have to fight with me?" The silver-robed woman looked furious and could not help but take out a saber as she charged at the haughty woman. The haughty woman coldly harumphed and did not show any fear as she took out a sword and charged at the haughty woman. Boom! Boom! Massive explosions sounded out as the two of them started an intense battle in the air. Terrifying shock waves continuously spread out, causing the space around them to continuously shatter. The terrifying auras caused people to tremble. "Zhao Fu, let's leave as soon as possible," the spirit maiden said worriedly as she sensed the terrifying shockwaves. Zhao Fu lightly laughed, "Don't be in such a hurry. Perhaps they were both higher beings in the past, which was why their battle was so terrifying. However, they're only at the Void Realm now, so there's no need to be afraid of them." Feng Wuyi lightly laughed as she said, "I also want to see which one of them is more powerful. It's best if both of them are heavily injured. It's all because their sons are so annoying." Boom! The silver-robed woman sent a massive amount of power into the saber in her hand, causing it to shine with an intense silver light. She vigorously slashed out, and 10 or so saber lights left behind saber marks as they slashed forwards with shocking power. Chapter 2399. The arrogant woman sent some of her power into her sword, causing it to give off boundless sword chi, forming an enormous sword dragon. It gave off a massive roar and gave off terrifying sword chi as it rushed forwards. Bang! The saber light and sword chi dragon clashed together, resulting in a massive explosion that continuously tore space apart and light illuminated the surroundings. Both of them were sent back 10 or so meters by the shockwave. The silver-robed woman was worried that her son was in danger, and she said savagely, "Third sister, don't blame me if you continue to stop me." The arrogant woman said provocatively, "Then show me if you can defeat me with your power." Boom! The silver-robed woman could not take it anymore and exploded out with all of her power. An enormous silver aura flame appeared around her as she shot forwards, leaving behind a silver trail. Boom. The arrogant woman's expression was serious, and she did not dare to be careless. She exploded out with all of her power, causing her body to give off a golden aura flame. Wild gales continuously blew as she rushed towards the silver-robed woman, leaving behind a golden trail. Bang! 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 Explosions rang out one after another and shockwaves spread out continuously. Space itself was constantly shattering and collapsing. The terrifying aura caused everyone's hairs to stand on end and their bodies to turn cold. Boom! A shocking explosion sounded out as both of them unleashed their most terrifying attacks, resulting in terrifying explosions. Both of them flew backwards and coughed up a large mouthful of blood. Their faces were pale and they were heavily injured. The arrogant woman's expression was sharp as she turned to look at Zhao Fu and said, "Boy, she no longer has any power. Now, she no longer has any power. Listen to me and kill her. I will give you everything you want." Now that both of them were heavily injured and did not have much power, in order to save her son, she could only choose to kill the silver-robed woman. Hearing that the arrogant woman wanted to kill her, the silver-robed woman's expression became cold as she said to Zhao Fu, "Now you understand how vicious she is. If you do as she says, you won't have a good ending. If you listen to me and kill her, I'll give you everything you want." The haughty woman hurriedly said, "My status is far more noble than hers. If you dare to kill me, the consequences will be dire. My mother is a member of another saint-class power. If you kill me, you'll be hunted down by 2 saint-class powers. But if you listen to me and kill her, I can guarantee that nothing will happen to you. You can rest assured." The silver-robed woman's expression was quite unsightly as she quickly said to Zhao Fu, "Don't believe her words or you'll regret it." Zhao Fu chuckled, "All right. Stop fighting. I won't kill either of you, so you should give me everything I want." The 2 beautiful women were startled. They didn't understand what Zhao Fu meant. Clang! Clang! 2 sounds of chains suddenly rang out. 2 chains shot out from the void where Zhao Fu was, quickly binding the bodies of the 2 beautiful women. With a pull, the 2 beautiful women were pulled towards Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu stretched out his hands and hugged the 2 beautiful women. The 2 beautiful women felt quite startled, and they struggled as they said with cold expressions, "What do you want?" Zhao Fu chuckled as he said, "Your sons have offended me, so you need to pay for them." The haughty woman coldly laughed as she said, "You're simply too daring. Not only are we from a saint-class power, but we're also the women of a saint-class power's leader. Moreover, our husband has become an immortal. If you dare to touch me, I'll see how you die." The silver-robed woman tried to persuade him, "She's right. If you do that, you'll suffer a terrible fate. Our husband will definitely chase you to the ends of the world. If you let me go, I won't pursue this matter." Zhao Fu did not hold back as he played with the things on the 2 beautiful women's chests and lightly laughed as he said, "Immortals are very terrifying and saint-class powers are also very terrifying. However, I've offended countless people. I'm not afraid at all unless you can find me." The haughty woman and the silver-robed woman were shocked. They had already revealed their identities, yet this person still dared to do this. Moreover, he did not seem to be afraid at all. Just who was he? He was not afraid of immortals or saint-class powers. Now they had no power to resist at all. Just now, the 6 of them had broken through to the immortal realm for their husband, and their cultivation had fallen to the emptiness realm. They were originally almighty existences and could casually kill Zhao Fu. However, they were only at the emptiness realm and were heavily injured, which was why they were easily subdued by Zhao Fu. If they had known that Zhao Fu was such a person, they would have killed Zhao Fu long ago. Moreover, they did not know what kind of magic this kid had, but under his play, their faces flushed red and their bodies became powerless. The silver-robed woman panted as she said, "Don't do this. The consequences will be severe." Now that things had come to this, there was no turning back. Even if they let the 2 of them go, the consequences would be the same. Moreover, Zhao Fu wanted to vent his anger on them. They could only blame their sons for this. Everything had started because of them. Zhao Fu lowered his head and kissed the silver-robed woman. The silver-robed woman lightly struggled before responding to Zhao Fu intensely. The haughty woman's face flushed red and she lightly harumphed. "Third sister, you really are a slut. You actually dared to be intimate with another man." Zhao Fu turned and kissed the haughty woman's fragrant lips, and the haughty woman responded even more intensely to Zhao Fu. Feng Wuyi stood at the side and blushed as she said to the spirit maiden, "Has master always been like this?" The spirit maiden's face became slightly red, and she felt a bit helpless as she said softly, "Yes. He has this hobby, and he has never been able to resist other people's mothers or wives." On the other side, the handsome-looking young man had caught up to the pretty-looking young man. This time, the handsome-looking young man did not want to waste any more time, and he raised his saber, wanting to kill the pretty-looking young man. The pretty-looking young man begged in fear, "Third brother, please don't kill me. I can promise that I won't fight with you for the position of successor. I can even leave the half-celestial world. Please spare me." Seeing the pretty-looking young man begging for mercy, the handsome-looking young man felt quite suspicious. After all, they were brothers, but for the position of successor, the handsome-looking young man made up his mind and prepared to kill the pretty-looking young man. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as a tall and slim woman wearing a white palace dress and giving off a dignified aura appeared. Seeing this woman, the handsome-looking young man quickly put away his saber and lowered his head as he called out, "Auntie." The person who had come was one of his father's wives, and she was the person that his father valued the most. She had an extremely high status in the faction, and almost no one dared to offend her. After all, offending her would only result in death. The pretty-looking young man was delighted and hurriedly ran to the woman's side as he said, "Auntie, third brother wants to kill me. You have to save me." Chapter 2400. The handsome young man hurriedly explained, "Auntie, it's not like that. I was just joking with fourth brother. He's my little brother, so how could I kill him? If I wanted to kill him, I would have done so already. Why would I still be alive?" The woman's expression was cold as she said, "All right, there's no need to say anything else. Your father already knows about this, so you can deal with it when you get back." The handsome young man's face became pale. He knew what the consequences were. Even if his father did not kill him, he would be severely punished, and he would not be able to become the successor. "Auntie, I know I was wrong. I know I was wrong, I beg you to plead with my father." The arrogant and handsome young man pleaded with the beautiful woman in the white dress with a fearful expression. The woman in the white dress looked at the handsome young man and sighed, "I understand. However, this can't happen again. As brothers, how could you kill each other for the sake of a successor?" Hearing this, the handsome young man let out a sigh of relief and smiled gratefully as he said, "Thank you, Auntie. I promise there won't be a next time." The handsome young man was quite displeased and said, "Auntie, you can't side with third brother. If it wasn't for the fact that I escaped quickly, I would have been killed by him." The woman in the white dress comforted him, "Auntie understands this and won't let you suffer." The handsome young man smiled and said, "Thank you, Auntie." The woman in the white dress asked curiously, "Where's your mothers? Didn't they get here before me?" The handsome young man and the handsome young man were quite confused. They didn't see their mothers. The beautiful woman in the white dress frowned and said, "Now, you two can go back. Your father and the others are all waiting for you. Take care of things together, and I'll go find your mothers." The handsome young man and handsome young man nodded, and the woman in the white dress flew off. Bastard, scum, scum! At this moment, the arrogant woman was the handsome young man's mother, and she was cursing at Zhao Fu while doing it with Zhao Fu. The silver-robed woman was also immersed in it and moaned lewdly. The spirit maiden and Feng Wuye's faces were red as they watched the three of them doing it. The woman in the white dress flew over to find the other two women. After a while, the woman in the white dress still could not find the two women. Logically speaking, the two women should have been here a long time ago, so why couldn't she see them? Did something happen? After carefully sensing the surrounding void, the beautiful woman in the white dress discovered that there was a barrier in one of the void ruins. The white-robed beauty pondered for a moment before flying toward the barrier. After arriving before the barrier, the beautiful woman in white found that it was just a simple soundproofing barrier that could be easily destroyed. She waved her hand and a wave of energy burst out, creating a hole in the barrier, and the beautiful woman in white flew in. Immediately, the white-robed beautiful woman stared in disbelief because she had heard the two women's extremely lewd voices. How could they make such sounds? Even when they were making love with their husband, they did not make such a sound. What are they doing now? She wouldn't do it with a man, right? Although they didn't get along very well, they had always loved her husband deeply, so they wouldn't betray him. Then why are they making such noises? The white-robed woman was shocked and carefully flew forwards. As she got closer and closer to the source of the sound, her heart began to beat faster and faster, and she became more and more nervous. Finally, he arrived in front of the ruins and saw the three of them in the middle of intense sex. Boom! The white-robed woman's mind felt as if it had exploded, and her mind went blank. She had never thought that this was true. The two of them had betrayed her husband and were so lewd. Following this, a wave of fury rose up in her heart and she coughed up a large mouthful of blood. The six of them had broken through to the celestial realm for their husband, and their cultivations had greatly fallen. Now they were still in a weak state. This anger caused the white-robed woman to cough up blood, and her aura and power became chaotic, as if she had been heavily injured. The prideful woman and the silver-robed woman also noticed the white-robed woman, and they looked ashamed. They did not have the face to see the white-robed woman, but their bodies became even more excited as they did it with Zhao Fu. Looking at the white-robed woman who had delivered herself to him, Zhao Fu did not hold back, and a chain shot out and tied her up. The white-robed woman struggled with all her might, but she was heavily injured and did not have much strength to resist. Her power was sealed by Zhao Fu, and she began to do it with Zhao Fu. In the end, Feng Wuyi looked at the three women's expressions of enjoyment and could not help but join in as well. Looking at Zhao Fu continuously doing it with her, she found that she liked it better when her master was like this than when he was cold. The spirit maiden's face was red, and she also joined in, making sounds that even she could not imagine. Within a tall and luxurious room, a handsome middle-aged man with a mustache sat at the very top, and he gave off the might of an celestial. There were three beautiful women sitting next to him. One had a slim figure and a cold expression, one had a voluptuous figure and gave off a flirtatious aura, and one wore a blue palace dress and gave off a gentle aura. Below them were a handsome young man and a delicate-looking young man. There were a few people standing on either side of them, both male and female. Their auras and appearances were similar to the middle-aged man's, and they were most likely the middle-aged man's children. The handsome young man knelt on the ground and said obediently, "Father, I was in the wrong this time. I was in the wrong this time, and almost did such a disgraceful thing. Please punish me heavily, and I won't complain." The handsome middle-aged man coldly harumphed, "So you still know that you were in the wrong?" The handsome young man knelt on the ground and lowered his head, not daring to make a sound. Taking the initiative to admit his mistakes was the best option, and he hoped that his father would not be too angry. The delicate-looking young man looked like he was kneeling on the ground, but he was inwardly delighted. As his big brother, he was going to suffer this time. "Sierre, get up, this isn't your fault." Hearing his father's words, a smile appeared on the delicate-looking young man's face, and he stood up as he said in a hypocritical tone, "Father, I think third brother is in the wrong. I think third brother is wrong, please don't punish third brother too much." The middle-aged man could immediately tell that the delicate-looking young man was quite excited, and he glared at him as he said with a trace of anger, "Everyone in this room is my family. I don't want to see you all kill each other for benefits and disregard your family. What's wrong with being united and harmonious? Also, when have I ever sided with anyone?" Hearing his words, everyone lowered their heads obediently, not daring to say a word. The flirtatious beautiful woman next to him said, "Husband, don't be angry. They most likely won't do something like this again in the future." The middle-aged man breathed out and calmed the anger in his heart before saying, "I'll ascend to the celestial realm soon, and I'm not the only one who can decide the matters of the faction. There are other elders who will take care of it, so don't worry about it." Chapter 24:01. After I go to the celestial world, I will send down all sorts of celestial pills and celestial medicines to help your mother and you all become celestials. Only by becoming celestials will you have eternity and no longer have to fear any threat. Everyone replied in unison, "We understand." Looking at his children, the middle-aged man relaxed and announced the punishment for the handsome-looking young man. He would lose his rights as the successor and would have to reflect on his mistakes for 10 years before he could leave. If he did it again, his cultivation would be crippled and he would be chased out of the faction. No one would be able to interact with him, and the faction's elders would carry out this. The handsome-looking young man's face was quite pale, but this was the best outcome. There was no real punishment for him, so he immediately said, "Thank you, Father, for giving me a lighter punishment. I will definitely not do it again." The middle-aged man relaxed and thought of something. "Why haven't your mother and aunt come back yet?" The handsome-looking young man and the delicate-looking young man shook their heads. The middle-aged man felt that nothing had happened, so he did not continue to ask and continued to arrange things for him after he ascended to the celestial world. "Husband, I want more." The beautiful woman in the white dress wrapped herself around Zhao Fu and was completely immersed in it. She continued to do indescribable things with Zhao Fu. Half a day later, the arrogant-looking woman's face was red as she leaned into Zhao Fu's embrace. "You're really not afraid of death. If our husband finds out about this, you'll definitely die a horrible death." Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "I already said that I'm not afraid. Let alone you, I've even enjoyed true celestials before." The women did not doubt this because they had talked to Zhao Fu in depth and understood how terrifying Zhao Fu's power and bloodline were. There was no need for Zhao Fu to lie to them. The beautiful woman in the white dress leaned against Zhao Fu's other side and said seriously, "Just who are you? How are you going to deal with us? Our bodies have been toyed with by you, and if we go back, our husband will definitely find out. I don't want him to suffer because of this. We've let him down this time." Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "Of course we'll go back together. Don't worry, I won't mistreat you. As for my identity, I'll tell you in the future." The silver-robed woman said worriedly, "If I leave with you, I'll worry about my son in the future, so I can't leave with you." The proud-looking woman said worriedly, "Now that husband knows that my son has done such a thing, he'll definitely punish him severely. I'm quite worried about him and don't want to leave with you." The white-robed woman sighed, "I don't want to leave either. Not only do I not want to be separated from my husband, but I've also developed deep feelings for him after staying in the faction for so long. But I'm really worried that my husband will find out about this." The arrogant beauty said, "Husband will ascend to the immortal world soon. At that time, it will be difficult for us to even see him. As long as we are careful, we should be fine. Big sister, let's not go with this fellow." Zhao Fu felt quite displeased. These three beautiful women did not want to leave with him. Could it be that they had some resistance to the 6 desires demonic chi? After all, the 3 of them were almighty beings, and their cultivation would recover very quickly. It was also at this time that Zhao Fu dared to violate them. Normally, when they saw such a terrifying almighty being, They would have to lower their heads and pay their respects. Zhao Fu thought about it. He had so many women that he could not even count them. If they did not want to leave with him, he would just let them be. Zhao Fu said, "Since you don't want to leave with me, I won't force you. I still have things to do later, so I'll be leaving first." The proud-looking woman said angrily, "You primal chaos, you want to leave after possessing our bodies? We don't want to leave because we have something to worry about. If we don't have anything to worry about, we can leave with you. Can't you understand us?" Zhao Fu said helplessly, "Then what do you want me to do?" The proud-looking woman thought about it and said, "You should wait here for a while. After our husband ascends to the immortal world, we can do it with you every day. How about that?" The silver-robed woman and the white-robed woman thought about how they would be violated by Zhao Fu every day, and their faces became red. The white-robed woman felt quite troubled as she said, "Aren't we letting down our husband too much?" The proud-looking woman teased as she said, "Big sister, don't say that. Let's not talk about this. You should know what it was like when you were under this guy just now." The white-robed woman's face became red, and she did not say anything else. However, Zhao Fu said, "No. I don't have time to wait for you. I have something important to do in the boundless void, and I have many things to take care of." The three women looked quite troubled. They did not want to leave, nor did they want Zhao Fu to leave. However, Zhao Fu had many things to take care of. In the end, Zhao Fu thought about it and agreed that he would come here to accompany them when he had time. The three women thought about it and could only agree. In the end, the proud-looking woman rode on Zhao Fu's body and wanted Zhao Fu to satisfy them. The next day, the three women completely indulged themselves and left all sorts of marks in the ruins. Their faces were red as they returned to their factions. In order to prevent their husband and son from discovering them, they said that they would go into closed-door cultivation for a few days, which made their husband and son feel quite strange. The middle-aged man completely believed in his wife, and did not think too much about it. Moreover, he was mainly preparing to ascend to the celestial realm. As for his two sons, they would not think about what had happened between their mother and Zhao Fu. This could only be blamed on them. If they had not caused trouble for Zhao Fu, such a thing would not have happened. Zhao Fu, Feng Wuyi, and the Spirit Maiden came to the second forbidden area, the Ghost Refining Domain. It was said that these small celestial realm cracks were formed by battles between peerless experts. Because the Burning Spirit Forbidden Area had a peerless expert's arm that contained a terrifying celestial fire, the forbidden area was dominated by celestial fire. It was said that the Ghost Refining Domain was created when two experts accidentally blasted open a celestial realm nether domain. The celestial realm nether domain had countless immortal ghost chi, and a few ghosts had also run to the lower realms. In addition, countless ghosts had been attracted by the immortal ghost chi and rushed here, forming such a terrifying forbidden area. Zhao Fu and the other two stood in the air, and the area in front of them was covered by a gray ghost chi. It was unknown how big it was, but it seemed boundless. Without any hesitation, Zhao Fu directly entered. The first feeling was a bone-piercing cold. Not only was the Ghost Refining Domain filled with ghost chi, but it was also filled with a terrifying coldness. This coldness was not any weaker than the heat of the Burning Spirit Forbidden Area, and it was equally terrifying. Zhao Fu was not too worried here. Compared to the Burning Spirit Forbidden Area, Zhao Fu was more confident here. This was because Zhao Fu had the Ghost Race Emperor Star, the 6 Paths Demon Images, and the 9 Paths Reincarnation Power that he had created. He was definitely more confident than he was in the Burning Spirit Forbidden Area. For example, that terrifying coldness, Zhao Fu could withstand it without a defensive barrier. Chapter 2402. Arg, a series of howls sounded out, and not long after Zhao Fu and the others entered, savage ghosts started to howl and gave off powerful auras as they charged at Zhao Fu and the others. The scene was incredibly terrifying, and countless ghosts flooded towards Zhao Fu like a tsunami. They gave off massive sounds and shook the surroundings. Since this place was called a forbidden region, it naturally had its own terrifying aspects. Even the powerful Feng Wuyi felt quite nervous. The spirit maiden was quite weak right now, and seeing such a terrifying ghost horde, her expression became quite serious. Zhao Fu walked forwards by himself, and facing the horde of ghosts, he did not show any fear at all. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as if something had been shattered. A towering ghostly flame erupted around Zhao Fu's body, and boundless gray light spread out. The space around him seemed to be locked down by a formless power, causing everything to fall into a state of stillness and giving off an immense sense of pressure. The temperature of the entire world plummeted, becoming bone-chillingly cold. Countless people in this world could not help but tremble in fear. The left side of Zhao Fu's face became crimson red, making him look incredibly savage. He looked like a devil, and he had grown fangs. The pale white eyeball on his forehead became rainbow-colored, and at the same time, a thin opening appeared in Zhao Fu's eye sockets, giving off an unimaginably terrifying power. 9 gray runic circles floated out with Zhao Fu at the center, each larger than the last, and they were about 30 centimeters apart. Right now, Zhao Fu was like a ghost immortal, and the terrifying aura that he gave off alone overwhelmed the aura that the entire horde of ghosts gave off. The ferocious ghosts were now scared witless, and they quickly retreated. Some of the ghosts even knelt to the ground as if they had seen their ancestor. The heaven-toppling ghostly aura instantly collapsed. After arriving here, Zhao Fu did not hesitate and directly entered Ghost Immortal mode. After coming here, he would definitely enter Ghost Immortal mode, so Zhao Fu decided to use Ghost Immortal mode in advance to avoid some trouble. Feng Wuyi looked at Zhao Fu in shock. Before, when Zhao Fu had entered the Pantheon state, that power had been enough to make her feel fear. She had never thought that Zhao Fu would have such a terrifying power. Her master was simply too terrifying. It seemed that she hadn't followed the wrong person. Thinking to there, Feng Wuyi felt very happy. The spirit maiden was also astonished. This was the first time she had witnessed the power of her Ghost Immortal mode. Zhao Fu flew forward, and Feng Wuyi and the spirit maiden followed behind him, giving off this Ghost Immortal aura that surpassed the heavens and earth. All the ghosts and monsters along the way immediately fled upon seeing Zhao Fu, not daring to stay for even a moment. Zhao Fu also caused a sensation in the ghost refining domain. Run! Run! I heard that a Ghost Immortal barged into our place. It's simply too terrifying. No ghost can stop him. Are you serious? Why would a Ghost Immortal barge into our place? Also, we're ghosts, and we have the same attribute as that Ghost Immortal. What are we afraid of? You brat don't know how terrifying that Ghost Immortal is. It's simply beyond my imagination. Just a glance from afar scared me to death. Under his terrifying aura, even my ghost body collapsed. Have you also seen that Ghost Immortal? I also took a look from afar, and I was so scared that my soul left my body. This is the first time I've felt such terrifying power. Also, this Ghost Immortal has come with ill intentions, which is why so many ghosts are so afraid. That's right. I don't know which ungrateful ghost actually dared to offend Lord Ghost Immortal. Now that Lord Ghost Immortal has come knocking, that ghost will definitely die a miserable death. In any case, not a single ghost in the periphery of the forbidden area dares to stop him. It all depends on the ancient existences in the core of the forbidden area. Right now, everyone stay here obediently. Don't go and cause trouble. If anyone wants to die, then die. Don't implicate everyone. Zhao Fu brought Feng Wuyi and the Spirit Maiden, and quickly flew forward, directly flying towards the inner part of the forbidden area. There was no need to look around, there was no place Zhao Fu was looking for. As they got closer and closer to the inner part of the forbidden area, the huge immortal ghost chi became denser and denser. Some places almost crystallized, and the terrifying coldness became more and more terrifying, as if it could freeze a person. When Zhao Fu entered the ghost immortal state, his body could withstand the coldness, but Feng Wu Yi and the Spirit Maiden had some difficulty. The 9 rune circles around Zhao Fu spread out, emitting countless rays of light. They continuously rotated, forming a rune barrier that enveloped the 3 of them, blocking the terrifying coldness. Boom! Zhao Fu rushed into the inner part of the ghost refining domain without any obstructions. The various powerful ghosts in the ghost refining domain already knew of Zhao Fu, because he had caused such a huge commotion outside. It was impossible for them not to know. Boom! A terrifying ghost with a head of a cow holding a huge iron fork appeared in front of Zhao Fu with a huge aura. Boom! A ghost general wearing gray armor with pure black eyes and a long sword at his waist, giving off a terrifying aura of killing and conquering appeared. Boom! An explosion sounded out as a 10 or so meter tall monster with 3 ghost heads and a powerful human body appeared, giving off shocking ghostly power. Ghosts giving off terrifying auras appeared in front of Zhao Fu and surrounded Zhao Fu. Their auras shook the surroundings, and the atmosphere became incredibly oppressive. Even those far away could sense it. The ghosts looked at Zhao Fu and found that Zhao Fu was not a ghost immortal and was only an Emperor Heaven Realm cultivator. He was not as terrifying as the rumors said. However, the ghosts did not relax at all. Their faces were still solemn, because even though he was not as terrifying as the rumors said, he was still extremely terrifying. Just the ghost immortal power on his body was enough to make them feel fear in their hearts. The massive ghost with a head of a cow and a human body gave off a deafening voice. "Who are you? Why have you come here?" Because of the terrifying aura that Zhao Fu gave off, no matter how many experts there were, none of the ghosts dared to act against Zhao Fu. As ghosts that lived in the forbidden area, they had celestial energy and understood some things. They did not fear not only Zhao Fu's power but also Zhao Fu's identity. This ghost immortal power was far more terrifying than the power they controlled. Moreover, they could sense the aura of the origin bloodline, and seeing him charge in so brazenly, they did not dare to act against Zhao Fu. They could tell that Zhao Fu was someone from an unimaginable faction, and even the existences in the depths of the forbidden area did not dare to offend such a person, let alone them. As such, they did not act. The massive ghost with a head of a cow and a human body spoke as courteously as possible. Only Zhao Fu would receive such treatment. If an ordinary holy son dared to do this, they would not even know how they died. Chapter 2403. Zhao Fu's expression did not change at all as he looked at the many powerful ghosts giving off terrifying auras and surrounding him tightly, making it seem as if they were going to destroy the heavens. The voice was extremely eerie, as if it had come from the depths of hell. "I'm going to find a place where the void is more stable to set up a spell formation." Hearing Zhao Fu's voice, the powerful ghosts felt a chill in their hearts. This person was indeed terrifying, but after hearing Zhao Fu's words, they were all dumbfounded. He had charged into the forbidden area with a monstrous aura just to set up a spell formation? Was there a mistake? The ghosts had thought that Zhao Fu had come to take revenge or forcefully take away their treasures, which was why they had gathered together. Finding a place where they could set up a spell formation was not beneficial to them at all, so the powerful ghosts were able to relax. The massive Minotaur said, "That's not a problem, but this is a void formed by the celestial realm, and it's always in a state of collapse and nothingness. It's almost impossible for you to find a place to set up a spell formation." Zhao Fu could not leave just because the Minotaur said this, so he said, "I'm going to look around first." The Minotaur smiled and said, "Do whatever you want. It won't affect us anyway." The other ghosts did not try to stop him. Because of the conflict of interest, they definitely did not want to offend a terrifying person like Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu did not say anything else and flew to the side with Feng Wuyi and the Spirit Maiden. The powerful ghosts did not dare to stop him and opened up a path for him. Feng Wuyi and the Spirit Maiden felt as if their hearts were about to jump out of their chests. Not only were these powerful ghosts slightly more powerful than them, but there were so many of them that they were not a match for them at all. If it wasn't for Zhao Fu, they would have died if they were surrounded by so many ghosts. Now they were behind Zhao Fu, looking at Zhao Fu's back with their beautiful eyes. They worshipped Zhao Fu in their hearts. It was his aura that had suppressed these powerful ghosts, making them not dare to attack him or even offend him. Many of the ghosts stood there and watched as Zhao Fu and the others left. Some of the ghosts could not help but speak up. That kid is way too arrogant. He doesn't put us in his eyes at all. I don't even know who he is. I've never felt such terrifying power before. The way I see it, that kid must be a fairy from the immortal plane. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to possess this power. This power is not something that can be nurtured in the mortal world. Yes, I feel the same way. Also, I feel that his origin bloodline is far more terrifying than ordinary origin bloodlines. Sigh. I feel that it's a pity to let him go. His bloodline and power are so terrifying, and if I devour his flesh and blood, I'll be able to obtain great benefits. Perhaps I'll also obtain that terrifying power. Ha ha ha, if you want to die, you can go alone. Do you think you can kill this kind of person who descended from the immortal realm? Not to mention you alone, even 10 of us would be able to kill him. Moreover, he doesn't need anyone's help to blast you into pieces. I feel the same way. The strength that that person displayed is not his true strength. There is still some kind of great power hidden within. All right. Everyone, disperse. There's nothing else to do. Also, if he really is here to find a place to construct a teleportation formation, then ignore him. If you discover that he has other intentions, immediately inform us. I also feel that such a terrifying person has to be quite powerful. Everyone, please be careful. Zhao Fu flew around with Feng Wuyi and the Spirit Maiden, searching for a suitable place to construct a teleportation formation. Some powerful monsters silently followed behind them, keeping an eye on Zhao Fu's every move in order to prevent Zhao Fu from doing anything else. Along the way, all of the monsters gave way to Zhao Fu. In this ghost immortal state, Zhao Fu really could do as he pleased. In the end, just as the powerful monster had said, there was no suitable place to construct a teleportation formation. Zhao Fu thought about it for a moment before turning his gaze toward the core region of the forbidden area. Now that he had the powerful ghost immortal state, his attributes matched the forbidden area's attribute. Zhao Fu could not enter the burning spirit forbidden area's core region, but perhaps this place could. As such, Zhao Fu brought the others and flew toward the core region. After the monsters following behind realized Zhao Fu's goal, they were greatly startled and hurriedly spread the news. The forbidden area's core region was completely different from the outer region. It was hundreds of times more dangerous than the outer region, and the monsters there were all from the celestial world. Normally, they did not dare to take a step close to it. After hearing the news, the monsters all hurried over in shock. By now, Zhao Fu, Feng Wuyi, and the Spirit Maiden had already arrived before the core region. There seemed to be a gray barrier of light ahead, and the ground around it had already crystallized. The cold and gloomy energy that it gave off was extremely terrifying. Zhao Fu's body also felt extremely cold. It could be seen how powerful the celestial ghost chi in the core region was. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as Zhao Fu gave off an enormous ghostly flame, and a massive amount of ghostly energy spread out and flowed into the talisman barrier. The talisman barrier gave off a world-shaking power, and it covered the 3 of them as they flew forwards. Many powerful ghosts watched from afar. They did not have the guts to get close to this place. The talisman barrier flew forwards, and at first, it was able to defend against the terrifying celestial ghost Qi. However, as it came closer and closer, the celestial ghost Qi was like sharp knives that cut apart the talisman barrier. Boom! A shocking explosion sounded out as an ultimate ghost immortal power spread out from Zhao Fu's body. In that instant, the entire region was locked down, and countless traces of celestial ghost Qi retreated in fear. Within the talisman barrier, Zhao Fu gave off a massive ghostly flame, and the eyeball on his forehead quickly twisted, giving off an eerie, cold, and destructive aura. Powerful ghost immortal power flowed into the talisman barrier, causing it to give off massive power. It no longer cracked, and it became even firmer. 6 gray stone doors that were 3 meters tall and gave off ancient auras appeared in the 6 directions of the talisman barrier, giving off a feeling of suppressing everything. The powerful monsters watching from afar looked incredibly shocked. They could sense that terrifying power from so far away, and their bodies slightly trembled. It seemed that this person was an incredible figure within the ghost race. Bringing with him this aura, Zhao Fu continued to fly towards the core region. Countless traces of terrifying celestial ghost Qi started to retreat in fear, but even more celestial ghost Qi started to gather, forming a massive shockwave that blasted towards Zhao Fu. Chapter 2404. Bang! A massive explosion sounded out as the terrifying shockwave slammed into the 6 stone doors, causing them to tremble and crack as the immortal ghost Qi spread out like water. Zhao Fu continued onwards and was about to enter the forbidden area's core. Suddenly, a massive head stretched out from the immortal ghost Qi in the sky. It looked like a little boy and had 2 short horns. It had gray-white skin, a pair of pure black eyes, and 2 canine teeth. The head did not give off any terrifying aura or might, but it gave off an indescribable feeling, as if it had transcended the restrictions of Tao and could not be sensed. Seeing this head, the ghosts in the distance were so scared that their souls almost ran out. Their faces were filled with terror, and they did not hesitate to turn and run as if they had seen something incredibly terrifying. Even after running far away, the ghosts still looked terrified, and their hearts thumped wildly. They had never thought that such a thing would happen. The 10,000-meter-tall ghost with the head of a minotaur and the body of a human was quite cowardly, and it said in a daze, "My tortoise! How did we draw out such a terrifying existence?" The 3-headed monster's expression was one of fear, and he was covered in cold sweat. "That scared me to death," he said. "I almost died of fear. I never would have guessed that the kid wouldn't even enter the core area of the restricted area, and that he would attract a terrifying existence." A white-haired elder looked terrified, and his body was still trembling. "Yes, I've long since heard that there are existences of this level in the depths of the forbidden area, and now I've finally seen one." A fat, black-furred ghost said nervously, "We've already run so far. That existence won't chase after us, right? Should we run a bit further?" The Minotaur said, "There's no need. It's not like we drew it out, so its attention won't be on us. I'm quite curious what will happen to that boy when facing such a terrifying existence." The white-haired old man's expression was solemn. "That's hard to say. After all, that brat's identity might be very terrifying. That sort of existence might have some misgivings, but if they had no misgivings, that brat would definitely have died there." The 3-headed monster nodded in agreement and said, "That's right. It's his fault for drawing out one of the most terrifying existences in the forbidden area's core. That's a celestial-level ghost, a ghost that descended from the celestial world." The head that stuck out was the head of an immortal. It was also one of the most terrifying ghosts in the forbidden area. It was a ghost that descended from the immortal world, which was why all the monsters were so scared. Now, they did not dare to go back and take a look. They did not know what had happened there. He turned his gaze there. Zhao Fu stood there nervously, beads of sweat dripping down his body. Almighty existences could easily kill him, and immortal existences could easily blast him into pieces. At the same time, Zhao Fu was just as terrified as the other monsters. This was the first time Zhao Fu had encountered a celestial-level existence, and it was unbelievably powerful. Feng Wuyi and the Spirit Maiden were also incredibly terrified. Seeing such a terrifying ghost, their bodies slightly trembled. The head in the sky looked at Zhao Fu curiously and said in a childish voice, "Who are you? Why do you want to barge in?" Hearing its childish voice, Zhao Fu felt that it was a child and did not seem to be pretending. It did not seem to have any ill intentions, so he let out a sigh of relief and replied, "I'm the Emperor of a world, and I want to go into the forbidden area to see if there are any suitable places to construct magic formations." The little boy replied, "Oh, but why do you have such powerful ghost, celestial power? And it's even more powerful than mine. You're not a ghost celestial, and you have many emperor stars and an initial stage bloodline. You also have a lot of fate." Hearing this, Zhao Fu felt quite startled. All of his information had been revealed, and in front of such a powerful existence, nothing could be hidden. By the side, Feng Wuyi listened to the little boy talk about Zhao Fu and felt quite shocked. She had never thought that Zhao Fu would be so terrifying. In the end, the little boy said, "It's the first time I've seen someone as special as you. You're hiding so many terrifying things, and you're not from the celestial world." Zhao Fu did not know how to reply and said humbly, "Senior, I've only had slightly better opportunities. My luck is only slightly better, there's no way for me to compare with Senior." The little boy happily laughed and said in a childish voice, "I'm not Senior, I'm still young, I'm only 10,000 years old. Don't call me Senior, call me by my name. My name is Mingjiu, and I come from the underworld, immortal world." Zhao Fu felt quite awkward. He was already 10,000 years old, and he was still calling himself young. Zhao Fu did not dare to reveal such an expression, and he obtained some information from the little boy. His name and that he came from the celestial world. Zhao Fu did not know what race the little boy was from, but he was only this old after 10,000 years. Most importantly, he already had celestial-level power. Zhao Fu was just someone from the lower world, so he could not imagine just how terrifying the celestial world was or what terrifying things there were. Zhao Fu replied, I got it. My name is Zhao Fu." In front of the little boy, Zhao Fu could not hide any secrets and could not deceive him, so he could only tell him the truth. The little boy smiled as he said, "I'll remember your name. You said that you wanted to come here to find something. Do you want to come to my house to play? Even though my mother doesn't like people from the lower world, you're so special, I'm sure she won't dislike you." Right now, Zhao Fu did not dare to go in. Even though this little boy was a celestial, he only had the mind of a 4- or 5-year-old, and if he was not careful, he might die at his hands. Moreover, his mother was not as easy to fool as him, and he did not know his mother's personality. Perhaps she would do something to him. Finding a place to construct magic formations was important, but Zhao Fu was not willing to trade his life for it. As such, he tactfully refused. "There's no need. I've already searched many places here, but I don't have any at the core. I'll go elsewhere." The little boy looked disappointed. In order to avoid angering him, Zhao Fu immediately took out all sorts of toys and interesting things to give to the little boy. With the little boy's strength, Zhao Fu would not be able to give him anything precious. However, if he gave him toys or interesting things, he would be quite tempted. Seeing these things, the little boy was indeed quite happy. He accepted them all and smiled as he said, "You can come to my place to play when you're free." Zhao Fu nodded. The little boy took all sorts of things and his head shrunk back into the core. Zhao Fu and the others let out sighs of relief and relaxed. This was the first time they had faced an existence of this level, so they did not dare to be careless. Otherwise they could die at any moment, and not everyone could endure this pressure. Chapter 2405. Zhao Fu and the other two came out unscathed. The powerful ghosts looked incredibly shocked, and they were now even more certain that Zhao Fu's identity was incredibly terrifying and could scare ghosts to death. Otherwise, the terrifying ghosts from the celestial world in the depths of the forbidden area definitely would not let him off. At the same time, they felt quite fortunate that they had not done anything to him, or else they would have died a horrible death. Moreover, they were quite curious about Zhao Fu's identity. Why did a ghost celestial not dare to kill him? Many powerful ghosts quickly chased after Zhao Fu, and one of them was the powerful ghost with the head of a minotaur. Even though he had spoken very politely to Zhao Fu, he was still afraid of offending Zhao Fu, so he quickly chased after Zhao Fu. The other ghosts also did the same. "Sir, please wait. We were in the wrong just now, so we came to apologize," the Minotaur called out as he caught up to Zhao Fu. By now, Zhao Fu had returned to his normal state and stopped. Looking at the polite and friendly ghosts, even the most ferocious ghosts squeezed out a trace of a smile and lightly laughed as he said, "It's fine." Seeing that Zhao Fu had returned to his normal state, the ghosts inwardly let out a sigh of relief. If he was still in his normal state, they would have to be more careful. Moreover, after Zhao Fu returned to his normal state, his aura and power were not as terrifying as before. However, the ghosts did not dare to underestimate Zhao Fu. "This is a small gift. Sir, please accept it." The ghosts took out treasures and smiled as they looked at Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu looked around and found that there were many good things, so he waved his hand and put them all into his space. Seeing Zhao Fu accept the gifts, the ghost smiled even more and felt much more relaxed. The Minotaur asked with a flattering smile, "My lord, may I ask who you are? Let us ghosts worship and admire him." Zhao Fu looked at these ghosts and understood what they were thinking. Of course, he would not tell them who he was, and he lightly laughed as he said, "Are you sure you want to know? My identity is an earth-shattering secret. Most of the people who knew about it died miserably." This scared the monsters so much that they immediately became obedient and did not dare to ask about Zhao Fu's identity. After all, no matter how terrifying Zhao Fu was, they would believe him. The Minotaur ghost smiled and continued to ask, "Then may I ask what that existence that came out of the forbidden area's core did to you, my lord?" Zhao Fu said with a smile, "It's nothing. He also asked me to go to his house. I still have something to do, so I declined." The ghosts were in an uproar. They thought that this person's identity was indeed terrifying. Even the ghost immortals had to be polite to him, so naturally, they didn't dare to say anything about Zhao Fu. The Minotaur ghost gave a flattering smile as he said, "Since Sir has something to do, we won't disturb Sir. In the future, if Sir has time, please come and visit us." This was definitely something that only Zhao Fu could do by himself. He had taken a place that was filled with danger, and that no one dared to go near, and made it a place that anyone could come and go as they pleased. Most importantly, all of the ghosts here seemed to welcome him with open arms. A big reason for this was the ghost celestial mode. If it wasn't for his other attributes, these ghosts would not have been so close to the celestial. The ghost celestial mode was Zhao Fu's second most powerful mode. It fused the 6 paths of reincarnation into the path of reincarnation, then fused it with the celestial mode. The 6 paths of reincarnation did not belong to Zhao Fu and instead belonged to the Heaven Awakened world. Zhao Fu was looking forward to the 9 paths of reincarnation growing, so that the 9 paths of reincarnation would belong to Zhao Fu. If the 9 paths of reincarnation were fused, the ghost celestial power would be even more terrifying, and it would not be any inferior to Zhao Fu's 10,000 godly power. Zhao Fu smiled and nodded, and the ghosts happily left. Zhao Fu also left this forbidden area and headed to the next forbidden area. The next forbidden area was called the Chaotic Time Forbidden Area. This forbidden area's space-time was extremely chaotic, and it was very difficult for other creatures to survive here. After entering, they would either be torn apart by chaotic spatial flows or fall into time vortexes and die. Zhao Fu came to this forbidden area and sensed it. The space here was indeed even more chaotic than the other two forbidden areas. He had not been able to find anything in the other two forbidden areas, so this place was even more impossible. However, Zhao Fu still entered and did a simple search around. The space here was even more chaotic than the outside world, and there were no creatures here. There were spatial cracks and time vortexes at all times, making it quite dangerous. Zhao Fu thought about it. This place had already been explored, and it was almost impossible for there to be a place to build a spirit formation. Therefore, Zhao Fu decided to give up here, and did not want to waste time here. Next was the final forbidden area. The final forbidden area was formed by a large crack in the immortal world. Not only was it many times larger than the other forbidden areas, it had existed for a very long time, and no one knew when it had formed. The immortal chi here was the densest, and there were all sorts of heavenly materials and earthly treasures. Many saint-class powers liked to send people here to train. Of course, they were only people, and their own people could only stay at the periphery of the forbidden area. They could not go deep into the forbidden area or the core area. This was because among the many forbidden areas, this forbidden area was more dangerous than the others, especially in the innermost depths. There were unimaginable dangers hidden there, and even immortals could lose their lives there. This was also Zhao Fu's last hope. If he could not find a place to build a spirit formation here, then he could only go to the uninhabited half-immortal world. The chances of finding an uninhabited half-immortal world were incredibly slim. Not only were there very few of them, but many other large and small factions were also searching for them. Who knew how long it would take for Zhao Fu to find them? Zhao Fu would search for a while, and if he could not find one, he would have to give up and see if there was anything he could do. He could not just stay here and do nothing. Apart from this, Zhao Fu had many other things to take care of. After dealing with this, he had to awaken 2 Emperor Stars and go to the spirit domain to solve the 6 Desires celestial art. Now, he only had 2 Supreme Emperor Stars left. After awakening them, Zhao Fu would have 9 Emperor Stars, and he would feel that his fate would be complete. When that time came, Zhao Fu would have even more power and fate, and he would be able to face the upcoming disaster and the invasion of another great thousand world. As for the 6 Desires celestial art, Zhao Fu's body was actually going through some changes. Because it had only started not too long ago, the effects were quite weak, and if one did not sense it carefully, one would not be able to sense it. However, as time went on, the changes would become greater and greater. Zhao Fu had been putting this matter off, but he definitely had to take care of it. Zhao Fu did not want to become a woman or someone who was neither male nor female. Chapter 2406. Zhao Fu brought his people to the Great Immortal's Crack and found that there were more people than he had expected. Not only were there a small number of holy sons, but there were also many imperial princes with imperial bloodlines and some princes with royal bloodlines. The holy sons were the highest level and were the most respected existences. The imperial princes were the second level and were the most common existences. The lowest level was the imperial princes, who were the lowest existences. Princes were extremely prestigious in other places, and countless people had to respect and curry favor with them. However, they were the lowest people here. It could be seen how high the level here was. Most of the people here formed small teams and entered the Great Immortal's Crack to explore. Only a small number of experts would choose to go alone. Some people saw Zhao Fu's group and wanted to join Zhao Fu's group. However, Zhao Fu ignored them and flew into the forbidden area. After entering the forbidden area, Zhao Fu sensed a dense wave of immortal qi, which was much denser than the other small cracks. What was even more shocking was that there were many continents floating in the void within the forbidden area. The largest ones were the size of a world, while the smallest ones were the size of an island. There were also spatial cracks around them, and one could see that there was another world inside. Now, Zhao Fu understood why so many people from holy grade factions were willing to explore this place. The continents here were most likely formed when a very large world collided with the upper celestial world. The Great Immortal's crack was directly connected to the celestial world, and the immortal chi that flowed out was also the purest immortal chi. Even the immortal chi in the half-celestial world was not as pure as this place. The various continents had always been nurtured by the purest immortal chi, and there were naturally many precious treasures and rare beasts. Some powerful people would even specially cultivate here because the immortal chi here was the purest, and they could comprehend some celestial world laws. This would be very helpful for ascending to the celestial world in the future. These reasons made the Great Immortal's crack a very lively place. Not only were there all sorts of life forms and races, but many holy grade factions would also enter to explore. Zhao Fu closed his eyes and sensed the surrounding void, and he smiled. Because there were many continents here, the void was more unstable than other places. Even though he could not build a teleportation formation, there was a high chance that he could find a suitable place here. Zhao Fu did not linger in the periphery for too long. He brought his men and flew straight into the forbidden area. Because there were too many people exploring the outside of the forbidden area, even if they found a suitable place, it would be useless. At any time, someone could discover and destroy it, so they could only search inside. The Great Immortal's rift was really huge. Zhao Fu spent 7 to 8 days to reach the inner part, while the smaller ones took 3 to 4 days. This place also had many spatial cracks and turbulent flows. If one wasn't careful, they could fall in and lose their lives. This was also one of the main dangers. Zhao Fu released a formidable power to form a defensive barrier to protect the three of them, preventing chaotic streams and cracks from appearing in space and pulling them in. The method of finding it was relatively simple. Zhao Fu and the others each sensed a place and found that the space there was more stable. That place could be used as a place to build a teleportation array. Of course, he tried his best to avoid crowded places and move to more remote places. After arriving at the first continent, Zhao Fu sensed it and found that it was not suitable, so he immediately headed to the next place. However, there were treasures everywhere here. The ordinary weeds were lush green and gave off a gem-like luster. They had the effects of ordinary spirit herbs, and Zhao Fu could not help but feel tempted. When he found a suitable place, he would definitely explore it properly. Continue searching. Not long after, powerful battle ripples spread out. Sensing these ripples, Zhao Fu flew over. He found a group of people fighting, and the ones leading them were 2 holy sons, one male and one female. The male looked somewhat ugly and wore scale armor, while the female had a ferocious expression and wore clothes made of animal hide. There was dense immortal chi swirling around the valley on the ground, and faint immortal light leaked out. There was definitely some treasure inside. Right now, this group of people was most likely fighting over this treasure. Zhao Fu lightly laughed. If there was a treasure, he would be a fool not to give it up. Moreover, Zhao Fu and Qin's levels were relatively low, so any treasure would be useful. Zhao Fu led his people and rushed into the valley, wanting to see what treasures there were. The woman in animal hide coldly harumphed, "You dare to steal this old lady's treasure? You're seeking death." Boom! The woman in animal hide swung her bone club, and a terrifying energy brought with it a wild gale as it ferociously slammed towards Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu stretched out a wave of power and sent it into the defensive barrier, causing it to give off a powerful energy that blocked the incoming energy. The ugly young man said furiously, "What treasure is yours? We clearly found that treasure, and yet you came over to steal it. You people from the ancient desolate land are so barbaric and domineering. The woman in animal hide's expression became savage as she turned and swung her bone club, sending out a powerful energy towards the ugly young man. If this old lady says it's mine, then it's mine. If you scaly people have the ability, come and take it. The ugly young man felt infuriated and exploded out with a massive aura. A massive green pangolin appeared behind him, giving off a massive might and causing the surrounding space to crack. Boom! The ugly young man stabbed out with his spear, causing the green pangolin to shoot out like a cannonball. It was incredibly fast and gave off terrifying power as it rushed towards the woman in animal hide, leaving behind a green trail. The woman in animal hide did not feel any fear at all and sent a massive wave of power into her bone club as she vigorously smashed it forwards. A massive bone snake that gave off a savage and bloodthirsty aura suddenly shot out from the bone club and gave off a powerful aura as it shot forwards like a bolt of lightning. Bang! The green pangolin and bone snake quickly collided, resulting in a massive explosion. An orb of light containing shocking power instantly blasted out, causing the ground, trees, and rocks to collapse. After the shockwaves spread out, the ugly young man and the woman in animal hide both took a few steps back. The ugly young man retreated more, and it was evident that the woman in animal hide was stronger. Zhao Fu looked at the two of them and continued to fly towards the valley. This completely infuriated the two people, and the woman in animal hide yelled savagely, "Boy, this old lady is going to kill you, and you dare to steal my treasure?" The ugly young man also rushed towards Zhao Fu and said coldly, "That treasure should belong to me. I won't let you obtain it like this. Also, you're just a measly Emperor Heaven Realm cultivator. You're too bold." Looking at the two people giving off powerful auras, Zhao Fu directly entered Ghost Celestial mode. A massive ghostly flame erupted around Zhao Fu's body as a ferocious and cold gale blew out, causing the surrounding temperature to plummet. The expressions of the two people rushing towards Zhao Fu fell, and they stopped as they looked at Zhao Fu seriously. Chapter 2407. They had never thought that Zhao Fu would suddenly explode out with such a terrifying aura, causing them to feel an intense sense of danger. Zhao Fu looked at them and said eerily, "I'm taking this thing. If you know what's good for you, hurry up and scram." The people on both sides stopped fighting and looked at Zhao Fu in shock. It was the first time they had seen someone speak to them like this. The woman in beast skin was infuriated and exploded out with a ferocious aura as she rushed at Zhao Fu and yelled, "What are you being so arrogant for, boy? I'll kill you right now." The ugly young man's expression was cold as he also rushed at Zhao Fu. Boom! Zhao Fu stretched out a hand and a massive wave of ghostly qi flowed out, turning into two massive ghostly hands that gave off immense ghostly power and grabbed towards the two people. Bang! The woman in beast skin swung her bone staff, and a massive energy ferociously blasted out, causing the ghostly hands to dissipate into ghostly qi. Shing! The ugly young man vigorously stabbed out with his spear, sending out a shocking energy that pierced through the ghostly hands, causing them to dissipate into ghostly qi. The two people immediately rushed in front of Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu's expression did not change much as he gave off massive amounts of ghostly qi, instantly forming 10 or so ghostly hands that gave off eerie power. They gave off shocking auras as they slammed towards the two people. The two people felt quite startled and hurriedly swung their weapons, sending out terrifying energy or spear lights that destroyed most of the ghostly hands, causing them to dissipate into ghostly qi. Bang! Bang! However, the remaining ghostly hands still slammed into the two people's bodies with great power, sending them flying back. The two people were not satisfied after being sent flying and exploded out with even greater power as they rushed at Zhao Fu. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as an even greater wave of ghostly qi flowed out from Zhao Fu's body, forming dozens of massive ghostly hands that gave off shocking power as they grabbed towards the two holy suns. The woman furiously sent a massive wave of power into the bone club and continuously swung it. Waves of massive power blasted out, seeming to shatter the space in front of her. The ugly young man continuously stabbed out with the spear in his hand, sending out sharp spear lights that radiated with a terrifying destructive power. Bang bang bang! Loud explosions sounded out as the ghostly hands were shattered one by one, turning into large amounts of ghostly chi that spread out and surrounded the surroundings. After destroying the countless ghostly hands, the two holy sons' expressions were cold as they once again rushed at Zhao Fu with great power. Zhao Fu's lips curled into a cold smile as he lightly shouted, "Ghost burial." Ah! A series of mournful howls rang out, and the ghost chi that was spreading out instantly turned into numerous malicious ghosts that let out countless howls and pounced towards the two holy sons like a tidal wave. The two holy sons were alarmed. Because they were too close, they didn't even have time to react before some malicious spirits pounced on them and started biting them. Boom! The two holy sons exploded out with great power and ignited their divine bloodlines. A might that surpassed the heavens and earth and surpassed mortals descended, and countless rays of light shot out in all directions, piercing through the countless incoming ghosts. The many ghosts' bodies were pierced by the rays of light, and they cried out in pain before turning into traces of ghostly chi and dissipating. Swish! Suddenly, a figure appeared in front of the woman. The woman's expression fell, and just as she was about to attack, Zhao Fu ferociously kicked out. Bang! A muffled explosion sounded out as Zhao Fu's kick landed on the woman's abdomen, sending her flying back and coughing up a mouthful of blood. Zhao Fu eerily looked at the ugly young man. The ugly young man felt quite startled. Even though he had ignited his divine bloodline and had unparalleled power, he still felt quite afraid of this person. Swish! Zhao Fu's body disappeared and reappeared in front of the ugly young man. The ugly young man sent a wave of power into his spear and vigorously stabbed forwards, sending out a terrifying spear light towards Zhao Fu. Boom! Zhao Fu stretched out a hand and a massive wave of ghostly chi flowed out. Zhao Fu's hand turned into a ghostly hand that gave off terrifying power. It was covered with ghostly runes and its nails became sharp and long, grabbing the spear. The ugly young man looked quite startled. He had never thought that Zhao Fu would directly grab his spear. Suddenly, the ugly young man felt his hairs stand on end and his body became icy cold. He looked at Zhao Fu's forehead and felt as if there was an extremely terrifying and eerie ghostly eye staring at him. Bang! A muffled explosion sounded out, and before the ugly young man could react, he felt a massive wave of ghostly energy slam into his body, sending him flying back and coughing up a large mouthful of blood. Zhao Fu casually threw away the spear in his hand and said somewhat condescendingly, "You holy sons are very terrifying in the eyes of others and have noble statuses, but in front of me, you're still a bit lacking." The two holy sons' expressions were quite unsightly as they looked at Zhao Fu. If an ordinary person dared to say such arrogant words, they would definitely mock them. However, this person had the strength and right to say such word. Even with their powerful divine bloodlines, they were unable to suppress him in terms of bloodline. Even though he had hidden his bloodline, it was definitely not lower than divine bloodline. The woman in beast hide coldly harumphed, "Fine, I'll give up on that thing. Everyone, come with me." The ugly young man and the woman in beast hide, who were slightly stronger than him, chose to take a step back. They did not want to clash head-on with Zhao Fu, and they did not want to continue. They could not die here for a treasure, so they said coldly, "Let's go as well." The two groups of people turned and left, and Zhao Fu did not continue to attack them. They had all retreated, so there was no need for Zhao Fu to waste his strength. Moreover, the consequences of killing these holy sons would be quite severe. Feng Wuyi smiled and said, "Master, you're so powerful." Zhao Fu laughed and brought the two of them down to the valley. Whoosh! After coming to the celestial valley filled with celestial chi, Zhao Fu waved his hand, causing a wild gale to blow away the dense celestial qi, revealing the interior of the valley. At the center of the lush greenery was a small spring. The small spring was only 4 or 5 meters wide, and it continuously gave off clear gurgling sounds. Countless traces of celestial light shone out from within, containing powerful celestial energy. This small spring was a celestial spring, and every drop of spring water contained celestial energy and had many effects. Zhao Fu had already returned to his original appearance, and seeing this celestial spring, he smiled. An ordinary celestial spring like this would not cause the two holy sons to fight over it, as it had a spring pearl. As long as the spring pearl was taken away and placed anywhere, a celestial spring would appear. Because this was a celestial spring, it was best to place it in a place with celestial qi. If it was placed in a place without celestial qi, the effects would not be as good. Chapter 2408. With this immortal spring, not only could he nurture all types of precious spirit medicines, but he could also pour it on the immortal peach tree to help it grow. Previously, it was said that the immortal peach tree needed something that contained immortal energy in order to grow faster. If they used this immortal water, it would undoubtedly be the best choice. Zhao Fu grabbed at the air with his hand, and a fist-sized jade bead that shone with immortal light appeared. It gave off an attractive force and sucked all of the immortal spring water into it. The bead then flew into Zhao Fu's hand. Zhao Fu held the immortal spring bead and carefully put it away. Normal spring water, such as spirit springs and demonic springs, were very rare, and high-grade immortal springs were even rarer. This treasure was very useful to Zhao Fu, and the battle just then had been worth it. Following this, Zhao Fu led the Spirit Maiden and Feng Wuyi to more secluded areas. He sensed each area to see if they were suitable places to set up spell formations. A few days later, Zhao Fu felt quite strange. This immortal crack seemed like there were places where spell formations could be set up, but Zhao Fu had not found any. Could it be that it was impossible to set up spell formations in cracks? Thinking about it now, it was quite a pity. If he had forcefully stopped Feng Wuyi when she was using Incinerate in all directions, that space would not have been destroyed. Zhao Fu would have been able to set up a spell formation there before subduing Feng Wuyi and making her a guardian beast. That would have been perfect. However, since things had come to this, there was nothing he could do. Feng Wuyi could tell what Zhao Fu was thinking and said apologetically, "Master, I'm sorry. I didn't know that place was so important to you." Zhao Fu chuckled lightly, "Forget it. I made some mistakes at the time." Feng Wuyi smiled happily and leapt into Zhao Fu's arms as she said shyly, "Then Master, I'll take good care of you later. Thank you for not blaming me." A blush appeared on the Spirit Maiden's face. As the world's consciousness, she had seen Zhao Fu do it with many women before, but it was a different feeling after experiencing it for herself. Zhao Fu smiled and was about to say something when he suddenly sensed many people gathering in front of him. What had happened? Zhao Fu was also curious and flew in that direction. More than an hour later, Zhao Fu saw a group of people surrounding a huge door. This massive door was 100,000 meters tall and looked quite thin. It was white and made of metal, and there were celestial birds, spirit beasts, celestial trees, and celestial flowers carved on it. The door gave off boundless celestial light and gave off a powerful might. Zhao Fu did not know what was going on or why so many people were gathered here. He flew over to a young man with some stubble on his face and asked, "I'm sorry to ask, but why are there so many people gathered here?" The young man was stunned and looked at Zhao Fu strangely. He then smiled and said, "You're not from this place, right? Now is the time for the Immortal Sect Order to be released. Everyone is waiting here for the Immortal Sect Order." Zhao Fu smiled as he replied, "Indeed, I'm not from this place and it's my first time here. May I ask what the Immortal Sect Order is?" The young man smiled as he explained, Back then, when this great celestial crack appeared, there was a massive faction in the celestial world that used this crack to descend into the mortal world and used heaven-defying power to create this immortal gate. This immortal gate is connected to the celestial world above. As long as the immortal gate is opened, you can step into the celestial world and become a disciple of that massive faction. The immortal gate naturally does not open easily. Only those who pass the test can open the immortal gate. As for what test you need to pass, I'll explain it to you now. Every once in a while, the immortal gate will release countless immortal gate medallions, and those with immortal gate medallions will have the right to participate in the trial. After using the immortal gate medallion, you will be teleported to the core trial ground of the forbidden area. If you complete the test there or fail the test, you will be teleported back. Under normal circumstances, there will not be much danger, and it will be hundreds of times easier than charging into the depth. Zhao Fu's face was filled with shock. This was the first time he had heard of such a thing. There was actually such a massive faction in the celestial world that built a immortal gate here. This was a great temptation to countless people, including the holy sons. Under normal circumstances, only celestials had the ability to ascend to the celestial world. It was undoubtedly very difficult for others to enter the celestial world, or even impossible. Even half-immortals would not be able to do it. But now, something that half-immortals could not do could be done by them in one step. Who wouldn't be tempted? Who wouldn't be excited? Although entering the celestial world in one step did not mean becoming an immortal in one step, there were many opportunities in the celestial world, as well as great power. There were all sorts of unimaginable benefits that could allow one to quickly become an immortal. The key was not just entering the celestial world. After entering the celestial world, you would have a powerful backer, which would make things much more convenient for you in the celestial world. You would not be bullied by others, and you would not die without knowing anything. There were many existences in the celestial world that were even more terrifying than immortals. It was very dangerous for mortals to enter the celestial world like this. Zhao Fu smiled and asked in curiosity, "How many people have entered the celestial world?" The young man lightly laughed as he said, "Do you think it's really easy to enter the celestial world through the celestial gate? You're wrong. Their tests are extremely difficult and can only be described as monstrous. Within 10,000 years, only 10 or so people will be able to open the celestial gate, and all of them are peerless geniuses that only appear once in a few thousand years. Now that so many people have gathered here, apart from the holy sons with terrifying power, most people want to go in and obtain some benefit. That's the center of the forbidden region, and there are all sorts of powerful and shocking treasures there. Moreover, you don't have to worry about any dangers. With the Celestial Gate Medallion, even if you meet a terrifying half-immortal existence, it can quickly teleport you back. Of course, if you offend a celestial existence, you can only wait for death there. However, if you offend an existence of that level, you won't even have the chance to use the Celestial Gate Medallion before dying. Zhao Fu understood and smiled as he said, "Thank you for your answer. When the Celestial Gate Medallion comes out, I'll help you get one." The bearded young man could not help but laugh as he said, "You're only at the Emperor Heaven Realm and you want to go in? You want to fight over the Celestial Gate Medallion with others? And you seem so confident? Let me tell you, there are only 990 Celestial Gate Medallions. Even a peak Emperor Heaven Realm person like me wouldn't dare to say such a thing. I'm just going to see if I'm lucky or not. Just watch the show with me." Zhao Fu did not explain anything and smiled as he nodded. He looked at the Celestial Gate Medallion and waited for it to appear. Chapter 2409. Zhao Fu was not interested in entering the Celestial Gate. His goal was simple, which was to enter the depths of the forbidden area to obtain treasures. Moreover, that place was the center of the crack, and the celestial qi there was extremely dense and pure. If he could find a place to construct formations there, that would be the best choice. Even if he could not find it there, he could always come back here. This time, the main character of the Celestial Gate was not Zhao Fu but the people standing in front of the Celestial Gate. There were men and women, and they gave off power that surpassed the heavens and earth. They also gave off an extraordinary aura, and in front of them, the holy suns were like stars that did not dare to compete with the moon. Zhao Fu could sense that their power had surpassed the spirit realm and reached the Tao realm. With Zhao Fu's current cultivation, he could at most defeat a void realm expert. If it was a spirit realm expert, Zhao Fu might not be able to defeat them, and if it was a Tao realm expert, he would most likely lose. After all, after breaking through to the Tao realm, one would become a higher being. It could be said that these people were just a step away from higher beings, and some of them could even rival higher beings. Even though no one could compare to Zhao Fu's talent, his cultivation was still too weak, and he could not compare to those Tao realm experts. This was why the main character was not Zhao Fu, as Zhao Fu would have to go around them and would not be able to compete with them for first place. Time gradually passed, and the Celestial Gate gradually gave off a terrifying celestial might that pressed down on the surrounding space. Everyone felt a massive pressure. Boom! Suddenly, a massive explosion sounded out as the Celestial Gate gave off boundless light. White command medallions shot out like rays of light, bringing with them immense power. The holy suns near the Celestial Gate grabbed, and a massive wave of power spread out, grabbing the command medallions. No one dared to fight with them for them. The other command medallions tore through space like rays of light and shot out in all directions. Everyone hurriedly tried to snatch them. Some people directly charged at the command medallions, while others stretched out a hand and gave off a wave of power to grab them. Others naturally would not watch as their command medallions were snatched away, so they also charged over or directly attacked. Bang! Bang! A series of explosions rang out, and the scene immediately descended into chaos. Everyone was fighting over the tokens that had been shot out. As for the successors who had obtained the token, they immediately used the Immortal Gate token, turning into beams of light that shot into the Immortal Gate and disappeared. The bearded youth followed suit and rushed towards an Immortal Sect token. He wanted to snatch it. Zhao Fu, however, stood still. The cross-shaped pupil in his right eye spun rapidly, and the power of the 6 paths of reincarnation spread out. Boom! 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 A massive explosion sounded out as 4 massive vortexes appeared in the sky, giving off boundless eerie ghostly chi, causing everyone's hairs to stand on end, and a trace of fear appeared in their hearts. Suddenly, massive ghostly hands stretched out from the vortex, giving off powerful ghostly power. They grabbed the 4 command medallions before disappearing into the vortex. No one knew what had happened, who had used those 4 ghostly hands. However, they did not think too much about it and continued to fight over the other command medallions. A while later, those who had obtained a command medallion used it and turned into a beam of light that shot towards the Immortal Gate. Those who had not obtained a command medallion could only leave in disappointment. The bearded youth had been injured from trying to snatch the command medallion, and his expression was quite dim as he prepared to leave. Zhao Fu smiled as he called out, "Wait, this is for you. This is for you." With that said, she tossed him an object wrapped in cloth. The bearded youth felt quite confused as to what was wrapped in cloth. He then suddenly remembered that Zhao Fu had said that he would help him obtain an Immortal Gate token, and his heart started to beat quickly. He nervously looked around and found that there was no one around. He then carefully opened a corner of the cloth, and a white token giving off a faint light appeared before him. Heavens! It really is an Immortal Gate token. When did he snatch it? The stubble-bearded young man looked incredibly excited and shocked, and he looked up at Zhao Fu. Just as he was about to thank Zhao Fu, even though he didn't know how Zhao Fu had obtained the Celestial Sect medallion, The fact that Zhao Fu had given him such a precious thing meant that he owed him a great debt of gratitude. However, before the bearded youth could say anything, Zhao Fu and the others used the Immortal Gate token and turned into 3 rays of light that shot into the Immortal Gate token and disappeared. Looking at Zhao Fu's disappearing figure, the bearded youth sighed. He did not know how lucky he had been to meet such a powerful and mysterious person. Zhao Fu and the others came to the depths of the forbidden area and felt dense celestial qi flow towards them. They were surrounded by green mountains, flowers and trees, giving off spiritual light, and they felt as if they had come to a celestial realm. However, Zhao Fu and the others immediately became careful and hid their auras, as there were many powerful creatures' auras in the surroundings. Even though there were many treasures in the forbidden area, there were also all kinds of powerful creatures. If one accidentally attracted their attention, they might directly attack them, and they could only use the Immortal Gate token to escape. It would be very difficult for a person to escape because the weakest creatures in the depths of the forbidden area were Void Realm creatures. Spirit Realm creatures were everywhere, and there were some higher beings and even celestials. The Immortal Gate token's test was to kill a certain number of Void Realm creatures before going to a special location to undergo a test. Zhao Fu was mainly here to search for treasures and was not interested in these tests. He did not go to the special location, and he headed outside the trial location. Soon, Zhao Fu found something. He first found 10 or so red and black lingji mushrooms that were 1 meter long growing next to a rotting tree. They gave off a faint medicinal fragrance, and could be used to refine World Realm medicinal pills. Even though Zhao Fu was already an Emperor Heaven Realm expert and World Realm medicinal pills were not very useful to him, lingji mushrooms were incredibly valuable to World Realm cultivators and were incredibly difficult to find. However, it was as if they were free and there were 10 or so of them growing here. What's more, Zhao Fu found them quite easily after taking a few steps. Apart from these lingji mushrooms, Zhao Fu also found a few celestial grasses that looked like they were carved from jade. They gave off faint celestial light and could help Divine Realm cultivators increase their cultivation. To Divine Realm cultivators, they were quite valuable. Zhao Fu could not help but grin. He had found these things just by walking around. This place was truly a treasure land. Zhao Fu did not let go of these materials. Zhao Fu did not need these materials, but the Qin Empire had only just become a royal kingdom and did not have many foundation or experts, so it desperately needed these materials. Zhao Fu continued onwards. Zhao Fu and the others came to an orchard. There was a tree that was 3 meters tall, had tube-shaped leaves, and both the trunk and leaves were dark yellow. Chapter 24:10. There were fist-sized fruits growing on the trees, emitting a faint sweet fragrance. There were a lot of fruits, and a 3-meter-tall tree could bear dozens of such fruit. Zhao Fu went up and picked one of the fruits to take a look and found out that it was called the Chongyang fruit. The Chongyang fruit was a rank 6 fruit, and its main function was very powerful. It could help people expel impurities from the body, heal hidden illnesses, improve the body's physique, and increase one's strength. If a person ate this fruit, their body would expel impurities and improve their physique, which would help them break through more easily. This was the biggest effect because cultivators would always encounter difficulties when breaking through, but the Chongyang fruit could help them break through more easily, and the lower the rank, the greater the help. If a rank 1 cultivator ate it, they would definitely break through to rank 2. Rank 2 cultivators would have an 80% chance of breaking through to rank 3, and rank 3 cultivators would have a 60% chance of breaking through to rank 4. If one continued to calculate until rank 6, the effect would become smaller and smaller, and if one surpassed rank 6, it would lose its effect. Also, healing hidden illnesses was very important because people would get all sorts of illnesses and injuries, and over a long period of time, there would be hidden illnesses. These hidden illnesses were accumulated over a long period of time, and ordinary spirit medicine wouldn't be able to cure them. These hidden illnesses would often cause big problems, and it could even endanger one's life, so spirit medicine that could cure hidden illnesses were very precious. Finally, the increase in strength was a rank 6 fruit, and it contained a large amount of immortal energy. Rank 1 soldiers were too weak, and if they ate it, their bodies would explode and they would die. Only rank 2 soldiers could barely absorb it. If they absorbed the immortal energy from this fruit, the increase in strength would definitely not be small, and it would even allow the soldiers to grasp a bit of immortal energy. Even though there were stage 6 fruits in this place, which were quite low grade, Zhao Fu still felt quite happy when he saw the forest. If he brought these fruits back to Qin and planted them, Qin's soldiers' cultivation speed would be even faster, and their cultivations would catch up to those inner and middle domain powers. They wouldn't have to fear them anymore, and they could even destroy them. The Chongyang fruit was a great help to Qin, so how could Zhao Fu not be happy? However, with such a large orchard, it would take a lot of time for Zhao Fu and the others to dig. Moreover, this was the depths of the forbidden area, so it might be very dangerous. Zhao Fu thought about it and decided to head deeper into the orchard to take a look. There might be a tree king in such a large orchard. If he could subdue this tree king, it would be easier to deal with this orchard. Because Zhao Fu didn't know how powerful the tree king was, if it was extremely terrifying, Zhao Fu would escape first. Zhao Fu didn't forget that this was the depths of the forbidden area, and there were all sorts of terrifying existences here. As such, he didn't bring Feng Wu Yi and the spirit maiden with him and had them wait at the side. Xiao! An air-piercing sound rang out as Zhao Fu turned into a ray of light and shot into the depths of the orchard. Soon, Zhao Fu saw the 10,000-meter-tall Chongyang tree, which gave off a massive aura. The Chongyang tree sensed that Zhao Fu was flying over and grew an ancient face. Its massive eyes looked at Zhao Fu, and a massive formless might pressed down on Zhao Fu's body. Zhao Fu's expression froze, and he wanted to turn and run. This might was definitely at the peak of the Dao realm, and it was just a bit away from breaking through to become a higher being. How could Zhao Fu be a match for such a powerful tree spirit? However, it was too late for Zhao Fu to turn and run. That massive might was pressing down on his body, and even though he didn't feel that it was heavy, if he moved, the tree spirit would immediately attack. A trace of a smile appeared on the tree spirit's ancient face as it said, "Little fellow, why have you come here?" Zhao Fu let out a sigh of relief. Luckily, the tree spirit was not someone who would attack right away, or else he would have to use all of the Emperor Star's power to escape. In response to the tree spirit's question, Zhao Fu thought about it and answered truthfully, "I wanted a large number of Chongyang trees, so I entered the depths of the forbidden region to subdue Senior. I never thought that Senior would be so powerful, so I was a bit rude." The ancient tree spirit chuckled as he said, "It's fine. If you want a large number of Chongyang trees, I can give them to you, but what are you going to trade for them? You can't just take things from me for free, right?" Zhao Fu felt quite delighted. It would be best if he could trade for what he wanted without any danger. After all, he would not be able to defeat the tree spirit. However, Zhao Fu thought about how powerful the tree spirit was and how he did not have anything that could attract him. If he could not attract him, the tree spirit would naturally not trade. Zhao Fu asked, "What do you need, Senior?" Hearing this, the tree spirit felt quite expectant and said, "I've been stuck at this realm for many years and am just a sliver away from breaking through to the higher being realm. I can tell that you have an extraordinary background and are most likely from a large faction. Can you provide me with something that can help me break through to the higher being realm? I'll be very grateful to you." The tree spirit understood that most of the people in the depths of the forbidden region who were not at the higher being realm were holy sons of large factions. Saint-grade factions like this had many higher beings and half-celestials, and he did not want to offend them. If they had no ill intentions, the tree spirit would not have acted. Moreover, he had been stuck at this cultivation for a long time and needed a fortuitous opportunity. He felt that this fortuitous opportunity was Zhao Fu. Even though he could not sense anything special about Zhao Fu, he could faintly sense a powerful power blocking his senses. The person in front of him was even more terrifying than an ordinary holy sun. That was why the tree spirit did not act and conversed with Zhao Fu in a friendly manner. After listening to the tree spirit, Zhao Fu fell into deep thought. Something that could help someone break through to the higher being realm was extremely rare and precious. How could Zhao Fu have something like that? Seeing the tree spirit's expectant look, Zhao Fu suddenly thought of his blood. It was the rarest blood in the world, and its power was beyond anyone's imagination. It might be able to help the tree spirit break through. Zhao Fu knew how precious his blood was, and he was also worried that the tree spirit would attack him after knowing his identity. For safety's sake, he said, I have something that might be able to help you, but I can't guarantee that it will be useful. Also, this thing is too precious, so you have to make a contract yourself. You can't attack me and you can't reveal this thing. The tree spirit was pleasantly surprised. Since Zhao Fu had made it sound so important, it must be something incredible. Moreover, he was only exchanging the Chongyang trees. No matter what Zhao Fu took out, as long as it could help him break through, he would make a profit. No problem. I'm willing to make a contract. I won't attack you, the tree spirit said with a smile. His body emitted a yellow light, and runes condensed in front of the tree, forming lines of contract text. Chapter 24:11. Zhao Fu looked at the words and nodded. The words of the contract flew into the tree spirit's body. The tree spirit's body glowed with a gray light, and there seemed to be chains twisting around him. Tree spirit's contract was a death contract. If he dared to attack Zhao Fu, the contract would immediately take effect, and he would kill himself. Tree spirit looked at Zhao Fu. Now that he had paid such a heavy price, it was time to see how Zhao Fu would perform. Zhao Fu understood, so he took out a dagger and cut his wrist. Blood flowed out, and it contained many runes. A fragrance like that of a Saint-Tier spirit herb wafted out, as if it was not something that could be found in the mortal world. Tree spirit looked expectantly at Zhao Fu, but as the blood flowed out, his expression slowly turned to shock. Origin bloodline? Or first-generation origin bloodline? No. This is much more terrifying than ordinary origin bloodlines. Tree spirit had never thought that Zhao Fu would take out such a terrifying thing. This person's identity was far more terrifying than he had imagined, and he was truly lucky to have come across such a great opportunity today. He was only a sliver away from breaking through, and this first-generation origin bloodline was so terrifying that it could definitely help him break through. Thinking about this, tree spirit became excited. Blood continuously flowed out, and under Zhao Fu's control, it formed a ball of blood. Zhao Fu grabbed this ball of blood and threw it towards tree spirit. Tree spirit nervously released his power and caught the ball of blood as he said respectfully, "Thank you, sir." Now, the situation had reversed. It was no longer Zhao Fu being respectful towards tree spirit, but tree spirit being respectful towards Zhao Fu. In tree spirit's heart, Zhao Fu's identity was definitely super terrifying, or else he would not have such a grade of bloodline. In front of such a noble person, tree spirit felt that he was inferior to Zhao Fu, and he was someone that he could not even touch, so he was very respectful. Looking at the ball of blood in front of him, tree spirit nervously breathed it into his body. Boom! A rumbling sound echoed in tree spirit's mind. He felt his blood spread through his body. A power that could break the laws of heaven and earth and transcend everything in the world spread out from his body. The invisible wall in front of him slowly crumbled under this force and turned into nothingness. Boom! A shocking explosion once again sounded out as the tree spirit's body gave off boundless yellow light, turning into a ray of light that shot into the sky, forming a massive pillar of yellow light that stood between the heavens and the earth. Terrifying ripples containing massive auras spread out like lightning, and no one could stop them. All of the nearby creatures' expressions changed. The horizon was covered by boundless yellow light, and the aura from that place caused countless creatures to feel as if they had fallen into icy water. Their bodies could not help but tremble. Who is breaking through to become an almighty? Looking at Tree Spirit's 10,000-meter-tall body was slowly disintegrating like sand being blown away. A power that surpassed the heavens and earth flowed out, causing the surroundings to become incredibly heavy, making it difficult to breathe. The massive Tree Spirit continuously disintegrated, and in the end, a yellow-robed, yellow-haired, elderly person appeared in the air, giving off the aura of an almighty being. Tree Spirit smiled and felt the power after breaking through, and he felt indescribable joy. After so many years, he had finally broken through. Feeling the joy of breaking through, Tree Spirit's eyes fell on Zhao Fu's body. He flew before Zhao Fu and respectfully bowed, saying, "Thank you for your help, sir." It was all because of Zhao Fu's blood that Tree Spirit was able to break through to the Almighty Being realm. Without Zhao Fu's blood, he would have been stuck at that cultivation for who knew how long, so he was incredibly grateful to Zhao Fu. At the same time, after absorbing Zhao Fu's blood, the Tree Spirit understood just how powerful Zhao Fu's original source blood was. It was many times better than celestial pills in the celestial world, and it was the most precious and powerful blood in the world. It was impossible for such a person to exist in the mortal world, so Tree Spirit became even more polite to Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu did not expect his blood to be so powerful that it could really help someone break through to the Almighty Being realm, so he was quite shocked. Looking at Tree Spirit, who was respectfully bowing in front of him, Zhao Fu could not help but want to laugh. He was also quite excited. Tree Spirit was an almighty being, and this was the first time he had ever bowed to him. In the past, he had always been respectful and did not dare to offend him in any way. Now, an existence that he had once looked up to was being respectful to him. How could he not feel happy? However, Zhao Fu also understood that Tree Spirit was being so respectful because he was grateful, and also because of Zhao Fu's unknown and terrifying identity. He did not know that Zhao Fu was only the lord of a small kingdom, so Zhao Fu's identity could not be leaked, or it would be very dangerous. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "There's no need to be so polite. Also, now that you know how powerful my blood is, you can't leak this, or else don't blame me for being impolite." Right now, Zhao Fu was acting courageously as he threatened the Almighty Being in front of him. Tree Spirit did not suspect him at all, and he instead trusted Zhao Fu even more. He smiled as he said, "Sir, don't worry. You've done me such a great favor, so how could I leak this?" Zhao Fu nodded in satisfaction and said, "Now that I've helped you break through to the Almighty Being realm, you should give me the item in exchange, right?" Tree Spirit came back to his senses and apologetically smiled as he said, "Sir, please wait for a moment." After saying this, Tree Spirit turned and went to where he had been before. He stretched out a hand, and a yellow light flowed out, forming a square orb of light that slowly flew into the sky from his palm. Boom! An explosion sounded out as the square orb of light exploded out with a massive amount of power, giving off boundless yellow light that illuminated the surroundings and gave off a massive attractive force. The Chongyang trees in the surroundings started to move as if they were alive. Their roots stretched out from the ground and flew into the sky. Countless Chongyang trees flowed into the light orb like a tide, and the trees on the ground kept decreasing. This lasted for about 10 minutes. The originally uncountable number of Chongyang trees had all disappeared, and the place seemed to be empty. The square-shaped light ball in the sky also became a square-shaped yellow crystal. Inside it there were many very small heavy yang trees. Tree Spirit reached out his hand, and the crystal flew into his hand. Tree Spirit turned around and smiled as he handed the crystal to Zhao Fu. Here? These are the Chongyang trees that Sir needs. I'll take them all and give them to Sir. Zhao Fu smiled as he took the crystal and sent his consciousness into it. He found that there were 10 million or so Chongyang fruit trees, and each Chongyang tree could produce dozens of Chongyang fruit. With 10 million Chongyang fruit trees, there would be hundreds of millions of Chongyang fruits, which would be of great help to Great Qin. Chapter 24:12. Just as the matter was settled, Zhao Fu was about to turn and leave. Tree Spirit hurriedly said, "Sir, where are you going? I have nothing to do right now, and this place is filled with danger. I am willing to protect Sir to repay Sir for your help." However, he had used a tree that was useless to him in exchange for an opportunity to break through to the higher being realm. The Tree Spirit felt that he had taken too much advantage and felt that he had let Zhao Fu down. Moreover, he believed that Zhao Fu's identity was quite terrifying and that he might need Zhao Fu's help in the future. As such, he wanted to curry favor with Zhao Fu and build a better relationship with Zhao Fu, which was why he had offered to protect Zhao Fu. A higher being was willing to be his bodyguard? Zhao Fu was startled, but he was naturally happy that he had not enjoyed such treatment yet. This place was indeed filled with all sorts of dangers, but if he had a higher being as his bodyguard, he would not need to be afraid of most things. Apart from immortals and half-celestials, Zhao Fu would be able to do whatever he wanted here. However, Zhao Fu was worried that his true identity would be exposed and that this Tree Spirit might kill him. After thinking about it, Zhao Fu decided to agree. Firstly, having a higher being as his bodyguard was too beneficial, and secondly, Tree Spirit had signed a contract not to harm him. This contract would be very difficult for higher beings to break. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "All right. I accept your protection." Tree Spirit smiled happily, "Thank you, Sir, for giving me this chance. I won't let Sir come to any harm." What Zhao Fu did not know was that his gate token had gained 10 million points. Countless people who had gate tokens were incredibly shocked. Even the Dao realm experts who had been standing in front of the gate of Celestial were shocked. Who is this person? Isn't this a bit too terrifying? The gate of Celestial has only been open for 3 hours, and this person has 10 million points. The second person only has 1 million points. I'm shocked too. 10 million points in one go? Is that killing a higher being? It's impossible for him to have so many points. According to the points obtained from killing or defeating creatures, killing a higher being is indeed 10 million points. That person who defeated a higher being in 3 hours is just too sick. Yeah. Why didn't I see him so powerful when we were fighting for the medallions earlier? He's far more terrifying than the prodigies from the Saints' world. He might be able to open the immortal gate this time. Ha ha, I'm getting excited just thinking about it. Only a few dozen people will be able to open the immortal gate every 10,000 years. Some people won't even get to see it in their entire lives. If we can see it, we'll be really lucky. Yes, I am also looking forward to this matter. It would be even better if I could see this expert with my own eyes. In the future, he will definitely shock many half-immortal world. I'm suddenly curious. What's his identity? We know most of the geniuses in the half-immortal world, but there's no such person. It's like he just appeared out of nowhere. That's hard to say. The endless void is boundless, and there are many terrifying people and powers. Who knows what his identity is? It's impossible. The saint-ranked prodigies had serious expressions on their faces. Their talents and strength were undoubtedly the best in the entire mortal world. Other than a freak like Zhao Fu, no one else could surpass them. Now they, who were originally proud and arrogant, felt a huge pressure and put away their arrogant attitude. They also thought that this person was very likely to open the immortal gate. The few saint-ranked prodigies came here just to give it a try. They didn't have full confidence in opening the immortal gate. Because opening the immortal gate was simply too difficult and there were no rewards, the various saint-ranked powers didn't value this immortal gate. Otherwise, according to normal circumstances, countless people would gather to watch the opening of the ruins. Experts from various powers would also descend to see the performance of their own disciples. However, there was no such thing here. You can come and go as you please. They didn't know that Zhao Fu had obtained 10 million points. Even Zhao Fu himself didn't know. Countless people didn't know that the person who had the highest chance of opening the immortal gate had no interest in it. However, there was no use in obtaining so many points. They couldn't exchange them for any rewards at all. Their gazes returned to Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu smiled at Tree Spirit in front of him and said, "As a creature of this place, you should know what's good there, right?" Tree Spirit smiled and nodded. "I'll take Lord there right now." Following this, Zhao Fu called over Feng Wu Yi and Ling Ji. They knew that a higher being had volunteered to be Zhao Fu's bodyguards, and they looked incredibly shocked. They couldn't help but feel admiration towards Zhao Fu and wondered how Zhao Fu had done it. Seeing that higher being's attitude, it was Zhao Fu who was extremely respectful. Before, the three of them had to be extremely respectful whenever they saw higher beings, but now, the situation was reversed. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as Tree Spirit brought Zhao Fu and the others and gave off a higher being's might as they landed on the surface of a lake. Sensing this terrifying power, a massive figure floated up from the bottom of the lake. It was a blue dragon. This divine dragon seemed to be very old, but its body was very strong, its 4 claws were sharp, and its body was covered in dark blue scales. There were 6 sharp horns on its head that were white in color, and the back of its neck and 4 claws were covered in white fur. It gave off a powerful water attribute aura, as well as an extremely terrifying pressure. Its power had reached the peak of the Tao realm. After Tree Spirit floated up, he looked at Tree Spirit in shock and said in an ancient voice, "Old Tree, how did you break through to become a higher being?" Elder Tree Spirit smiled and said with a trace of pride, "Old Dragon, take out all of your good things. I've brought you a massive opportunity, which is this lord next to me." Old Water Dragon looked quite confused and did not understand what was going on. However, seeing that Tree Spirit had broken through to become a higher being and was so respectful to an Emperor Heaven Realm cultivator, he felt even more confused. However, he quickly thought of something. Tree Spirit had a good relationship with him, and Tree Spirit had been stuck at the peak of the Tao realm for a long time. Why had he suddenly broken through? And why was he so respectful to an Emperor Heaven Realm cultivator? Combined with Tree Spirit's words, Old Water Dragon was sure that Tree Spirit had broken through because of this young man. Old Water Dragon could not help but feel excited and respectfully said to Zhao Fu, "Sir, this old man is willing to use all of my things in exchange for an opportunity to break through." After saying this, Old Water Dragon waved his claw and a wave of energy spread out, causing piles of materials to appear on the surface of the lake. There were celestial grasses, celestial trees, celestial flowers, ores, weapons, equipment, beast skins, beast horns. Zhao Fu felt quite shocked. Old Water Dragon had collected all sorts of materials, and the celestial light they gave off was quite extraordinary. Chapter 24:13. However, these things would soon belong to him. These countless materials could strengthen Qin's foundation and make Qin even stronger. Zhao Fu gave a satisfied smile and said, "I need you to make a contract that you cannot harm me or leak this matter." Hearing Zhao Fu agree, the Old Water Dragon felt quite happy. He finally had a chance to break through. The Old Water Dragon's body gave off countless rays of blue light as lines of contract words appeared. After Zhao Fu looked over them, the contract words fused into the Old Water Dragon's body, forming a formless binding power. After doing all of this, The old water dragon obediently stayed on the surface of the water and looked at Zhao Fu in anticipation. Zhao Fu took out a dagger and once again cut his wrist. Blood slowly flowed out and a fragrance that surpassed even that of a divine medicine spread out. The old water dragon felt quite startled. Just from this smell, this blood was quite extraordinary and had the power to change one's fate. The tree spirit respectfully stood there because he knew how powerful this blood was. His body instinctively felt respect towards it. This blood was not ordinary blood. It was a part of Zhao Fu's origin blood, or else it would not be so powerful. Origin blood was quite important to Zhao Fu, and if he lost too much, it would cause Zhao Fu's power to fall. Under Zhao Fu's control, the blood formed a small orb of blood and flew towards the old water dragon. The old water dragon carefully stretched out a pair of dragon claws and caught the floating ball of blood. Then, it opened its big mouth and swallowed the small ball of blood. Boom! A deafening rumble echoed. The old water dragon felt a blood flow through his body. A power that transcended the laws of the world and was not subject to any restrictions erupted. It was not something that could exist in the mortal world. First-generation origin bloodline? The old water dragon looked incredibly shocked. He had never thought that a mere Emperor Heaven Realm cultivator would have such a terrifying bloodline. Suddenly, the old water dragon's dragon race bloodline became incredibly excited, as if he was going crazy. His dragon blood became incredibly hot, and his body seemed to be burning. Supreme Dragon Bloodline! The old water dragon looked even more shocked. He had never thought that this blood would be so terrifying, and it even contained the dragon race's supreme bloodline. Roar! Hot blood flowed through his body, and an unimaginably powerful dragon power surged out of his body. The old water dragon raised his head and let out a deafening roar. The roar soared into the sky and crashed into the sky. A terrifying sound wave spread out, causing countless clouds to instantly dissipate. Boom! The old water dragon's body was filled with power as it slammed into the invisible wall in front of the cultivation base. The wall instantly collapsed and dissipated. Boom! A shocking explosion once again sounded out as the old water dragon's body gave off boundless blue light, and it gave off a massive aura as it leapt up from the water and rushed into the sky. It exploded out with its full power, causing an even more powerful blue light to shine in all directions. The entire sky was dyed blue. From afar, a gigantic blue divine dragon could be seen circling in the sky. Waves of frightening ripples were constantly spreading out. Even the heavens and earth seemed to be unable to withstand this power. Space and time seemed to be locked down, and the air became incredibly heavy. All of the creatures nearby sensed a terrifying might and felt immense terror. They lay on the ground, unable to move at all. Who's breaking through to become a higher being? Some creatures had just experienced this power and naturally understood that this might was the ripples of someone breaking through to become a higher being. For two people to become higher beings in such a short period of time, they felt incredibly shocked. The old water dragon spiraling in the sky gave off countless rays of intense blue light, and its body became more and more transparent before condensing into an elderly man. The elderly man had 6 sharp dragon horns on his head, and his face was ruddy. He wore a blue dragon robe and gave off a power that surpassed the heavens and earth, causing all creatures to feel fear. Sensing the higher being's power within his body, the elderly man smiled and looked incredibly excited. He felt the same as Tree Spirit from before. He had finally broken through. He could not help but feel excited and happy. After a while, the old water dragon came back to his senses and flew before Zhao Fu and respectfully bowed as he said, "Thank you, sir. I never thought that you would be the sovereign of the dragon race. It's my honor to meet you." The old water dragon's attitude was even more respectful than Tree Spirit's because he was not only grateful to Zhao Fu, but also because Zhao Fu had the sovereign bloodline of the dragon race. As a member of the dragon race, He instinctively felt respect towards a bloodline that was far more noble than his, and he acknowledged Zhao Fu even more. Seeing the old water dragon's attitude, Tree Spirit felt quite shocked. He had underestimated Zhao Fu and had never thought that he would be the sovereign of the dragon race. He did not dare to believe just how terrifying his identity was, and he had to do everything he could to curry favor with this person. Perhaps he would receive massive benefits in the future. Seeing the two high and mighty higher beings act so respectfully towards him, Zhao Fu smiled and said, "No need to be so polite." The old water dragon raised his head and put down his hands as he looked at Zhao Fu with a smile. Zhao Fu looked at the piles of materials on the lake and stretched out a hand and grabbed at them. The countless materials flooded over and disappeared into the space that Zhao Fu had created for himself. After collecting the materials, Zhao Fu smiled and said to Tree Spirit, "Let's continue." "Yes, sir." Tree Spirit smiled and replied. Seeing that Zhao Fu was about to leave, the old water dragon immediately asked, "Where are you going, sir?" Tree Spirit smiled and said, "Old water dragon, sir has come here to train, and I'm here to protect sir from danger. Are you willing to protect sir? This is a great thing." The old water dragon smiled and bowed to Zhao Fu as he said, "I'm also willing to follow behind sir and protect sir. Please allow me, sir." Another higher being was willing to protect him. This was a good thing, and Zhao Fu naturally would not refuse. He smiled and said, "Sure." Following this, Zhao Fu followed Tree Spirit and flew in another direction. At that moment, Zhao Fu did not know that the Immortal Gate Medallion had gained another 10 million points, bringing his total to 20 million points. The commotion caused by Zhao Fu had not subsided, and now that he had gained another 10 million points, everyone was in an uproar. Heavens, 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 another 10 million points. Just how did he do it? Could it be that he defeated another higher being? But it hasn't even been an hour since he obtained 10 million points. Could it be that he defeated a higher being in an hour? So freakish, too freakish. It's the first time I've seen such a terrifying person. Those divine tier geniuses are all trash, and I wonder just who he is. Chapter 24:14. I'm also curious. Just who is that person? I don't think I've seen him before. I worship him greatly, and he will be my goal in the future. If the first time was a coincidence, then the second time was the same. That person really does have indescribably terrifying power. Otherwise, he would have shaken the entire half-celestial world long ago. I feel that he definitely has the ability to open the gate of celestials. Last time, I felt that it was possible, but this person is too powerful and far surpasses my expectations. He will definitely have shocking performances in the future. Fudge. I almost forgot. This is the first time that such a terrifying person has appeared in this place. This is not a small matter, and the factions will definitely take it seriously. That's right. I feel that this matter is not small at all. If that person can really open the gate of celestials, it will definitely shake the entire world. I'll immediately report this to the factions. The Saint Grey genius's expressions became quite unsightly. Before, they had only felt a massive pressure, but now they could feel the difference between them and that person. He was far more powerful than them. Even though they did not want to accept this, the truth was right in front of them, and it was difficult for them not to accept it. Who is that person? They did not have the heart to continue with the trial because no matter how many times they defeated creatures to obtain points, they would never be able to surpass that person. That was the feeling that that person gave them. In the past, the people who had opened the gate of celestials had always been the top-ranked faction, but now that that person had appeared, it was impossible for them to be ranked first. This meant that they did not have the right to open the gate of celestials, and no matter how hard they worked, it would all be a waste of effort. As such, they did not have the heart to continue with the trial and wanted to see just who was so terrifying. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as the tree spirit gave off a powerful aura and brought Zhao Fu and the others to a plains. There was a group of half-human, half-wolf monsters on the plains. They were all 5 meters tall and had white wolf heads. They had 2 upturned fangs, and they had powerful human bodies and large wolf tails. There were many of them, in the hundreds, and they gave off powerful auras. All of their cultivation was at the extreme divine realm, and they were only slightly weaker than Zhao Fu's Emperor Heaven realm. If it was Zhao Fu, he would not dare to charge in like this, and he would definitely be attacked by these extreme divine realm monsters. However, things were different now. Zhao Fu had 2 almighty existences by his side. Sensing the might from the 2 higher beings, the monsters' faces became pale and they knelt to the ground. Their bodies trembled and they did not dare to offend Zhao Fu and the others. The tree spirit explained with a smile, "This is a white spirit werewolf. It collects a type of immortal sky dew from the grasslands. This immortal sky dew is a very precious item with many uses." Zhao Fu nodded lightly. The tree spirit turned to look at the werewolves and said with a thunderous voice, "Our esteemed master will not kill you, so don't be afraid. Hand over the immortal sky dew." Hearing this, the wolfmen hesitated. The immortal sky dew was something they had spent a great deal of effort to collect, and it was their most important item. Naturally, they were quite hesitant to hand it over. The old water dragon coldly harumphed with a trace of killing intent, "Don't seek your own deaths. Hurry up and hand over the celestial nectar, or don't blame me." The wolfmen were so frightened that they did not hesitate anymore. They quickly took out a watermelon-sized clay jar and came before Zhao Fu. They knelt on the ground and handed over the jar with both hands. The tree spirit reached out and the jar flew into his hand. He then opened the jar and revealed the liquid overflowing with celestial light. He smiled and said, "Sir, this is the immortal sky dew." Zhao Fu sensed it and found that it contained very powerful celestial force. It was indeed a precious treasure. He smiled and put the jar away. He smiled and said, "Let's continue to the next area." "Yes, sir." The tree spirit smiled and led Zhao Fu and the others to the next area. The wolfmen were relieved when they saw Zhao Fu and the others leave. They did not know how terrifying the cloaked person was, but the 2 almighty experts were so respectful to him that they were like servants. However, it was also an existence that they could not come into contact with. Now that the immortal sky dew they had worked so hard to collect was gone, they could only continue collecting. Fortunately, their lives were saved, so they still had a chance to collect more. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as the tree spirit led Zhao Fu and the others to land on a volcano. There was a massive fire-rock giant on the volcano. The fire-rock giant's body was mainly made of rock, and flames could be seen in the cracks between the rock. It was currently sleeping on the ground and gave off a searing heat. The old water dragon casually waved his hand and a massive water ball containing great power hit the fire-rock giant's head. The fire-rock giant roared and woke up. The tree spirit gave off a massive might that landed on the fire-rock giant. The tree spirit coldly said, "What are you shouting for? You're disturbing our lord." Sensing this terrifying power, the fire-rock giant immediately stopped shouting and knelt on the ground. It looked at Zhao Fu and the others. The tree spirit explained to Zhao Fu, "This fire-rock contains a type of fire-melt iron, which is a godly material for forging weapons." Zhao Fu smiled and said, I'll take it." The tree spirit turned to look at the fire-rock giant and said, "Did you hear that our lord wants your fire-melt iron? Hurry up and hand it over to our lord." The fire-melt iron was a metal that had been condensed in the fire-rock giant's body for many years, and it was very important to the fire-rock giant. The fire-rock giant did not want to hand it over, but there were 2 higher beings in front of him, and he was only at the spirit realm. He was not a match for them at all, so he could only hand it over. The Fyrock giant seemed to have been bullied and gave a muffled sound. "Oh! Hand it over immediately." Seeing this, Zhao Fu smiled and said, "I can give you a small opportunity." Zhao Fu stretched out a hand and condensed an orb of origin energy that gave off rainbow light and a powerful origin energy aura. He tossed it over to the Fyrock giant. The Fyrock giant could sense how powerful this orb of light was and felt that it would be of great help to him. He happily accepted the orb of light. Following this, a 1-meter-wide piece of fire-colored metal that looked like iron or stone floated up from the Fyrock giant's chest. The rock giant stretched out a hand and picked up the piece of metal in front of its chest and handed it to Zhao Fu as it smiled and said, "Here, my lord, this is high-grade firemelt iron that I condensed. It's much better than ordinary firemelt iron." Zhao Fu looked at the piece of firemelt iron that gave off powerful firepower. If it was used to forge a fire-type weapon, it would be an incredibly powerful weapon. Zhao Fu casually put the piece of firemelt iron away and continued to fly. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.